Alright. Have I done it? Am I alive? Have we done it finally? Have we done it on time? Perfectly on time and ready in order for things and stuff? I've gotten the notification. I think I'm live, baby. Okay. Well, now that that's all sorted out. Oh, crap. I need to do some shit. But, hey, welcome into, this Continuously Sidetracked live stream. It's been a long time since I've streamed anything, here on the channel. It's been a really long time since I've streamed a raid stream. We're gonna try to get back into the swing of things with that and some other stuff. But yeah, I was supposed to be here an hour earlier, but I got caught up with some stuff. But it's fine. We're here now. Nobody's in the chat. Burp, and the burps are immediately back. You hate to see it. But yes. So, what was I saying? I was in the middle of saying words. Oh yeah. Nope, don't remember. God, what was it? What was I talking about? Oh yeah. Supposed to be here a bit ago, but I wasn't because of reasons. I was busy donating and such and things and such. So we're just gonna hopefully get right into this book pretty soon. Give me a second to like set up the little stream layout that I've forgotten how to do it. Reaction stream. Is this full screen? Oh, is this full screen? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay. Let's make this full screen. Get this little duder here. And then we'll minimize that bad boy. And we'll do that playboy right there. Playboy. It's gonna be a crappy thing, but that's how you know what book I'm reading right now. Alright. So, let's talk about this thing. So, I have been inconsistently putting out content on this channel for a bit, but recently I've been doing a Percy Jackson thing. And I've watched those series, those reactions have been recorded, they're being edited slowly and being put out by me. And I am also in the middle of reading the books because I got done with that. So I decided to skip all that, most of the stuff, and also see my reactions to those bits of the story in the book. That you haven't seen me reading in the video because like it's all basically the same. Like it's all basically the same. I decided that but I'm gonna read the last bit because I was told to read the last bit on stream. I was like, why not? We'll read the last bit and then we'll go to the Sea of Monsters bit is what we'll do. That's what I've decided is going to happen. I had more words to say. I had a lot more. Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about this book so far. I've really been enjoying it. It is basically the same story as the TV show, which is duh. That means it's a good thing. It means it's a good adaptation. Because I don't know why people are saying, "Oh my God, why is it so different from the original book?" It's basically the same thing. Like this book, I'm not gonna lie, just have a little bit more personality into the characters, maybe even a lot more personality into the characters of Percy, Grover, and Annabeth. You get a lot more Grover, and it's just a funny book. It's just a really funny read, which is why I've been enjoying it so much, and I'm really excited to get into the next one, which will be probably just at least reading the first chapter of on stream. So, yeah, that's what we are going to be doing today. I don't really have too many thoughts on stuff that I can like tell you out loud, because Hey, Matson, what's going on, man? I'm sorry for the late stream. Sorry for the inconsistent content. We will be doing better, which is something that I say every single time, and I'm going to keep saying it until it happens. I believe that we're going to do better soon. But, yeah, I can't really have too much to say on what I've read in this book so far because, like, it's just the stuff that I've reacted to on the show, and those reactions aren't out yet on my channel, but you'll be able to see them hopefully soon. I won my wrestling championship. Let's go, dude. I didn't know you were wrestling. That's sick, man. I'd love to see it. That's freaking awesome. Congrats to you. But yeah, I don't know. I guess if you want my thoughts on stuff, ask questions. Otherwise, I'm probably just gonna leave it to the shiz in the reactions that you'll see soon. And what you're about to see in these books is we're about to read the last 3 chapters of The Lightning Thief, and at least the first chapter of Sea of Monsters. I don't know if I'm going to read more of that here on this stream. Might just read a little bit of that on my own, and then if there are people in the chat, I'll ask them what chapters I should be streaming my reaction to for Sea of Monsters. Okay, what chapters are we streaming my reaction to for Sea of Monsters? And then we'll go from there. So yeah, it's a good long, God, a 6-minute intro of me fumbling the bag. I'm off my game today. So I've been doing anything with this for a long time. Months. Need to get back to it. Should I record my short thingy before we go? Why not? Why not? That's what we're doing. Hi there, hello. We are currently streaming the last couple chapters of Percy Jackson and the Olympians on my YouTube channel. Go check it out. It's the same name as the thing on the thing, or if you're seeing it on the shorts, you'll just click the channel and be able to do the thing. But yeah, we're gonna read the last 2 chapters. I'm reading them for the first time, and I'm gonna start Sea of Monsters. I think I've never seen anything of except for the movie, so basically nothing. Well, yeah, if you're interested in that, join the thing. Okay, I'll see you there. Or I won't. Okay, bye. Yep, there you go. Behind the scenes treatment of how I record these thingies.
Hi there, hello.
Ooh, shut up, me. Thank you for that. Should I add music? Yeah, I'll add music. Why not? Yeah, I'll add Blim Bum Bum Bum. That song. I'll add Poker Face. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Yeah, we'll add Poker Face. That's what we'll do. Hopefully this stream doesn't get copyright claim from using Poker Face. That'd be terrible if I got copyrighted for that. These first 10 minutes are probably the worst first 10 minutes of any stream I've ever done in my entire life, but it's fine. It's all good. Don't even freaking worry about it, fam. Just gonna click all these doohickeys, and then once I get done posting this, we will jump right into the reading. PJO, Thank God nobody's in. Actually, it says 2 people are here, but for some reason, 2 people are here. That's what it says. So we're just gonna. I don't know if I can believe that or not. I don't believe 2 people would just sit in chat and watch me click these freaking hashtags waiting for me to read this book. But if you are here, I appreciate you, and just give me a second. I'm going as fast as I can here. Just listen to this amazing music my friend put together for this channel. It's pretty good. Let me know if it's too loud as well. Okay. Okay. That's up. Going onto the channel. Gonna put that up on there. Switch account. Switch accounts. Do the thing. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Okay. There we go. No, it's not for kids, even though Percy Jackson's for kids. My channel is not. Comment section. Don't hold any comments. Allow all comments. Be as rude as you want. Okay. That's up. I don't think should be doing any more dilly-dallying. Should just get right into the le book. Okay. Unless anybody has any protestants to me doing that. Speak now. Or forever hold your peace. Matson, don't get banned. Do not get banned, sir. Alright. So, I'm unburnable? I doubt that very much. If you're trying to say unbannable, I also doubt that. If you want me to test it, I can. It's certainly a thing that I can do. Alright. Okay. Where the crap did my thing go? There we go. Nope. I don't like that at all. Do. Okay. Thank you, go up. Thank you. Awesome. I cannot burn. Doubt. Alright. Give me one quick second. Let me check something. Okay. We're freaking good. We're freaking ready. Let's freaking start. Okay. Let's just begin. What's your favorite Batman movie? The Batman, Robert Pattinson. Easy, the best one. Alright. But yeah. Let's get into this. Chapter 20, I battle my jerk relative. Alright. A Coast Guard picked us up, but they were too busy to keep us for long, or to wonder how 3 kids in street clothes had gotten into the middle of the bay. There was a disaster to mop up. Their radios were jammed with distress calls. By the way, in the show, the city of Los Angeles did not get overrun and burned. That's insane. What? That's crazy. Anyway. They dropped us off at Santa Monica Pier with towels around our shoulders and water bottles that said, "I'm a junior Coast Guard." That's funny. And sped off to save more people. Our clothes were sopping wet. Even mine. Sopping? Never heard that word before. When the Coast Guard boat had appeared, I'd silently prayed they wouldn't pick me out of the water and find me perfectly dry, which might have raised some eyebrows. So I willed myself to get soaked. Sure enough, my usual waterproof magic had abandoned me. I was also barefoot because I'd given my shoes to over. Better the Coast Guard wonder why one of us was barefoot than wonder why one of us had hooves. This is so true. That's so cool, though. His willingness to be wet or not is determined by him. That's so dope. That's just I like that. The tiny little magic things in this that I really like. After reaching dry land, we stumbled down the beach, watching the city burn against the beautiful sunrise. I felt as if I'd just come back from the dead, which I had. My backpack was heavy with Zeus's master bolt. My heart was even heavier from seeing my mom. "I don't believe it," Annabeth said. "We went all that way." "It was a trick," I said. "A strategy worthy of Athena." Hey, she warned. You get it, don't you?" She dropped her eyes, her anger fading. "Yeah, I get it." "Well, I don't," Grover complained. "Would somebody—" "Percy," Annabeth said. "I'm sorry about your mother. I'm so sorry." I pretended not to hear her. If I talked about my mother, I was going to start crying like a little kid. "The prophecy was right," I said. "She'll go west and face the god who has turned." But it wasn't Hades. Hades didn't want war among the big 3. Someone else pulled off the theft. Someone stole Zeus's master bolt and Hades' helm and framed me because I'm Poseidon's kid. Poseidon will get blamed by both sides. By sundown today, there will be a three-way war, and I'll have caused it. Grover shook his head, mystified. But who would be that sneaky? That's crazy. He wanted a three-way war among the gods. That's wild. Because now he went there and pissed off Hades too. He was originally not going to intervene, but now Hades is intervening. Grover shook his head, but who would be that sneaky? Who would want war that bad? I stopped in my tracks, looking down the beach. Gee, let me think. There he was, waiting for us, in his black leather duster and his sunglasses, and an aluminum baseball cap propped on his shoulder. Baseball bat. Oh, he's not holding a sword, he's holding a baseball bat. His motorcycle rumbled beside him. Its headlight turned the sand red. Hey, kid, Ares said, seeming genuinely pleased to see me. You were supposed to be dead. You tricked me, I said. You stole the helm and the master bolt. Ares grinned. Well now, I didn't steal them personally. Gods taking each other's symbols of power, that's a big no-no. But you're not the only hero in the world who can run errands. Who did you use? Clarice? She was there at the winter solstice. The idea seemed to amuse him. Doesn't matter. The point is, kid, you're impeding the war effort. See, you've got to die in the underworld. Then old Seawood will be mad at Hades for killing you. Corpse Breath will have Zeus's master bolt, so Zeus will be mad at him, and Hades is still looking for this. From his pocket, he took out a ski cap, the kind bank robbers wear, and placed it between the handlebars of his bike. Immediately, the cap transformed into an elaborate bronze war helmet. That's so dope. The Helm of Darkness, Grover gasped. Oh, sorry. The Helm of Darkness, Grover gasped. Exactly, Ares said. No, where was I? Oh, yeah. Hades will be mad at both Zeus and Poseidon because he doesn't know who took it. Pretty soon, we got a nice little three-way slugfest going. But they're your family, Annabeth protested. Ares shrugged. Best kind of war. Always the bloodiest. Nothing like watching your relatives fight, I always say. You gave me the backpack in Denver, I said. The master bolt was in there the whole time. Yes and no, Ares said. It's probably too complicated for your little mortal brain to follow. The backpack is the master bolt's sheath. Oh. Yeah, because gods can change the shape of things. That's really sick, and not something that was explained in the show, but I feel like should have been. Just morphed it. The bolt is connected to it, sort of like the sword you got, kid. It always returns to your pocket, right? I wasn't sure how Ares knew about that, but I guess a god of war had to make it his business to know about weapons. This is true. You wouldn't be much of a god of war without it. Anyways, Ares continued, I tinkered with the magic a bit, so the bolt would only return to the sheath once you reach the underworld. You get close to Hades, bingo! You got the mail. If you died along the way, no loss. I still had the weapon. But why not just keep the master bolt for yourself, I said. Why send it to Hades? Ares got a twitch in his jaw. For a moment, it was almost as if he were listening to another voice deep inside his head. Why didn't I? Yeah. With that kind of firepower. He held the trance for 1 second. 2 seconds. I exchanged nervous looks with Annabeth. Ares' face cleared. I didn't want the trouble. Better to have you caught red-handed holding the thing. Interesting. So is he like in a Chronos trance or something? So obviously I know about Chronos since I watched show. You're lying, I said. Sending the bolt to the underworld wasn't your idea, was it? Of course it was. Smoke drifted up from his sunglasses as if they were about to catch fire. You didn't order the theft, I guess. Someone else sent a hero to steal the 2 items. Then when Zeus set you to hunt him down, you caught the thief, but you didn't turn him over to Zeus. What? Something convinced you to let him go. You kept the items until another hero could come along and complete the delivery. That thing in the pit is ordering you around. I am the god of war. I take orders from no one. I don't have dreams. Oh, he said that again in the thingy. When did he say dreams in the? Let me look back. Did I miss that? It doesn't matter. The point is, he's the god of war and he doesn't have dreams, obviously. Where was it? Where was I? I don't have dreams. Oh, there. I hesitated. Who said anything about dreams? Oh, okay. I just need to read one more line. If only I had read one more line. Ares looked agitated, but he tried to cover it with a smirk. Let's get back to the problem at hand, kid. You're alive. I can't have you taking that bolt to Olympus. You might just get those hard-headed idiots to listen to you. So I've got to kill you. Nothing personal. He snapped his fingers. The sand exploded at his feet. And out charged a wild boar. Oh, what? Even larger and uglier than one whose head hung above the door of cabin... words. Please. Whose head hung above the door of cabin 7 at Camp Half-Blood. The beast pawed the sand, glaring at me with beady eyes as it lowered its razor-sharp tusks and waited for the command to kill. I stepped into the surf. Fight me yourself, Ares. He laughed, but I heard a little edge to his laughter, an uneasiness. You've only got one talent, kid. Running away. You ran from the Chimera, you ran from the underworld, you don't have what it takes. Scared? In your adolescent dreams. But his sunglasses were starting to melt from the heat of his eyes. No direct involvement. Sorry, kid, you're not at my level. Annabeth said, Percy, run! The giant boar charged. But I was done running from the monsters, or Hades, or Ares, or anybody. As the boar rushed me, I uncapped my pen and sidestepped. Riptide appeared in my hands. I slashed upward. The boar severed right tusk fell at my feet, while the disoriented animal charged into the sea. I shouted, "Wave!" Immediately a wave surged up from nowhere and engulfed the boar. What? What? That's so hard. Wave. That's so hard. What? Engulfed the boar, wrapping around it like a blanket. And the beast engulfed... wrapping around it like a blanket. The beast squealed once in terror, then it was swallowed by the sea. I turned back to Ares. Are you going to fight me now? When did Percy learn he could do that? When did Percy learn he was that man? What? Are you going to fight me now, I asked, or are you going to hide behind another pet pig? Ares' face was purple with rage. Watch it, kid. I could turn you into a cockroach, I said, or a tapeworm. Yeah, I'm sure. That'd save you from getting your godly hide whipped, wouldn't it? There's no way. There's no way. Percy is shit-talking Ares right now. You've got to be joking. Flames danced along the top of his glasses. Oh man, you are really asking to be smashed into a grease pot. If I lose, turn me into anything you want. Take the bolt. If I win, the helm and the bolt are mine, and you have to go away. Ares sneered. He swung the baseball bat off his shoulders. How would you like to get smashed? Classic or modern? Ooh, love that. I showed him my sword. That's cool, dead boy, he said. Classic it is. The baseball bat changed into a huge two-handed sword. Okay, it is a sword. The hilt was a large silver skull with a ruby in its mouth. That's dope. The hilt did it have like a skull on the end, or is it like, or is he just holding a big skull? Because that just sounds like an awkward sword to hold. But whatever. Percy, Annabeth said, don't do this. He's a god. He's a coward, I told her. No! This man is tripling down! He's tripling down! What? He's tripling down, insulting the freaking god of war right now. Is he gonna do the same, like, First Blood rule? She swallowed, wear this at least, for luck. She took off her necklace with 5 years worth of camp beads and the ring from her father and tied it around my neck. Reconciliation, she said. Athena and Poseidon together. Bro. Dude, the themology. My face felt a little warm, but I managed to smile. Thanks. And take this, Grover said. He handed me a flattened tin can that he'd previously been saving in his pocket for 1,000 miles. The satyrs stand behind you. I don't know if that's the same thing, Grover, but I love you anyways. Grover, I don't know what to say. He patted me on the shoulder. I stuffed the tin can in my back pocket. Awesome, hey, welcome Shaughnessy Feeney. Welcome into the chat, my dude. In Jack Chase, I couldn't read your message fast enough before you deleted it. The Dark Knight? The Dark Knight is okay. I'm not gonna get into my Dark Knight right now. It's a good movie, but it's not a good Batman movie. I'll probably talk about that at some other time. I want to make a video on that actually. I don't know when I'm gonna do that because I'm really fucking lazy, but it'll happen soon. I'm trying not to be lazy. I'm trying really hard. This stream is proof of me hopefully not being lazy a little bit, even though this is easy, but it's fine because editing is the worst bit. But whatever. Where was I? Yeah. You all done saying goodbye? Ares came toward me. His black leather duster trailed behind him, his sword glinting like fire in the sunrise. I've been fighting for eternity, kid. My strength is unlimited and I cannot die. What have you got? A smaller ego, I thought, but I said nothing. I kept my feet in the surf, back into the water up to my ankles. I thought back to what Annabeth had said at Denver Diner so long ago. Ares has strength, that's all he has. Even strength has to bow to wisdom sometimes. He cleaved downward at my head, and I wasn't there. Ooh, okay, so he already swung. He swung. My body thought for me. The water seemed to push me into the air, and I catapulted over him, slashing as I came down. That's so sick. But Ares was just as quick. He twisted, and the strike that should have caught. He twisted, and the strike that should have caught him directly in the spine was deflected. At the end of his sword hilt, he grinned. Not bad, not bad. He's got those Poseidon. Noah, shut the hell up. You have no idea what's going on. You have no idea what's going on. Get the fuck out of here. Where was I? Oh, yeah. He slashed again, and I was forced to jump into a dry sand. I tried to sidestep to get back to the water, but Ares seemed to know what I wanted. He's got thousands of years of Poseidon war experience and Greek knowledge coursing through his veins right now. He outmaneuvered me, pressing so hard I had to put all my concentration on not getting sliced into pieces. I kept backing away from the surf. I couldn't find any openings to attack. His sword had a reach several feet long, longer than an Aklusmos. I just had to make an appearance. Yeah, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. Get in close, Luke told me. Once back in our sword class. When you've got the shorter blade, get in close. I stepped inside with a thrust, but Ares is waiting for that. He knocked my blade out of my hands and kicked me in the chest. I went airborne, 20, maybe 30 feet. I would have broken my back if I hadn't crashed in the soft sand of a dune. Percy! Annabeth yelled. Cops! What? The cops are gonna see this fight. Hold up, did you watch the show? I did watch the show. My first two reactions of 2 episodes are on my channel. The other 6 are recorded. I just haven't edited them yet because I was being lazy. But yeah, but this book is very different. It's at least some of the nitty gritty stuff is very different. Like this fight is not how it happened in the show, obviously. So I don't know how it's gonna end because Percy's in the show. He's like first blood, single combat or whatever, and in this one he's just like gonna fight you because you're a little bitch, Ares. You're a little bitch, and Ares is like, oh yeah. So we'll see. But yeah, those reactions will be up hopefully soon, which is what I say. But I definitely need to edit them. Oh yeah, cops. I was seeing double. My chest felt like it had just been hit with a battering ram, but I managed to get to my feet. I couldn't look away from Ares for fear he'd slice me in half, but out of the corner of my eye I saw red lights flashing on the shoreline boulevard. Cars' doors were slammed. There, officer! Somebody yelled, see! Oh, cops saw this grown man started fighting this child. A gruff voice. Looks like that kid on TV. What the heck? That guy's armed, another cop said. Call for backup! I rolled to one side as Ares' blade slashed the sand. I ran for my sword. No, he dropped it, scooped it up, and launched a swipe at Ares' face, only to find my blade deflected again. Okay, yeah, he dropped it probably when he got kicked like 30 feet. Ares seemed to know exactly what I was going to do the moment before I did it. I stepped back toward the surf, forcing him to follow. Admit it, kid, Ares said. You got no hope. I'm just toying with you. My senses were working overtime. I now understood what Annabeth had said about ADHD, keeping you alive in the battle. I was wide awake, noticing every little detail. I could see where Ares was tensing. I could tell which way he would strike at the same time. I was aware of Annabeth and Grover, 30 feet to my left. I saw a second cop car pulling up, siren wailing. Spectators who had been wandering the streets because of the earthquake were were starting to gather among the crowd. I thought I saw a few who were walking with the strange trotting gait of disguised satyrs. There were shimmering forms of spirits too, as if the dead had risen from Hades to watch the battle. Dang, that's so cool. That it's like this spectacle. Like everybody's showed up to see this random kid fight the god of war. I heard the flap of a leathery wing circling somewhere above. More sirens. I stepped farther into the water, but Ares was fast. The tip of his blade ripped my sleeve and grazed my forearm. A police voice on the megaphone said, "Drop the guns! Set them on the ground now!" Guns? Oh, they can't see the Greek weapons. That's right. I looked at Ares' weapon, and it seemed to be flickering. Sometimes it looked like a shotgun, sometimes a two-handed sword. I didn't know what the humans were seeing in my hands, but I was pretty sure it wouldn't make them like me. Ares turned to glare at our spectators, which gave me a moment to breathe. There were 5 police cars now, and a line of officers crouching behind them. Dang. The show was a better adaptation, but the movie was better, in my opinion. How does that... I'm trying to understand your line of logic here. But they're both adaptations. So, what are you saying? You just had more fun with the movie? Is that what you're saying? I don't understand. Do you watch Adventure Time? I did watch Adventure Time. I haven't watched it all the way through. I need to... I've been meaning to binge it at some point. Eric, which gave their private police cars, and a line of officers crouching behind them, pistols trained on us. "This is a private matter!" Ares bellowed. "Be gone!" Except his hands, and a wall of red flame rolled across the patrol cars. The police barely had time to dive for cover before their vehicles exploded. The crowd behind them scattered, screaming. Ares roared with laughter. "Now, little hero, let's add you to the barbecue." Yeah, I thought the movie was more fun. I guess I can get that. But I definitely enjoyed this show more than the movie, I feel. It just had more to it, more intentionality in the storytelling. Where the movie just felt like probably the most lore-ridden Michael Bay film I've ever seen. He slashed. I deflected his blade. I got close enough to strike, tried to fake him out with a feint, but my blow was knocked aside. The waves were hitting me in the back now. Ares was up to his thighs, wading in after me. Oh, I don't know why you would do that. He's the son of Poseidon. I don't know why you would do that. I felt the rhythm of the sea, the waves growing larger as the tide rolled in, and I suddenly had an idea. Little waves, I thought. and the water behind me seemed to recede. I was holding back the tide by force of will, but tension was building like a carbonation behind a cork. Ares came toward, grinning confidently. I lowered my blade, as if I were too exhausted to go on. "Wait for it," I told the sea. I told the sea? What? The pressure now was almost lifting me off my feet. Ares, okay, yeah. "Wait for it," I told the sea. The pressure now was always lifting me off my feet. Ares raised his sword. I released the tide and jumped, rocketing straight over Ares on a wave. That's so hard. That's so hard, bro. A 6-foot wall of water smashed him full in the face, leaving him crushing and sputtering with a mouthful of seaweed. I landed behind him with a splash and feinted toward his head, as I'd done before. He turned in time to raise his sword, but this time he was disoriented. He didn't anticipate the trick. I changed direction and lunged to the side, and I stabbed Riptide straight down into the water, sending the point through the god's heel. The roar that followed made Hades' earthquake look like a minor event. The very sea was blasted back from Ares, leaving a wet circle of sand 50 feet wide. Whoa. The war that followed made... Yeah, no, I read that part. Ichor. The golden blood of the gods flowed from a gash in the war's god's boots. The expression on his face was beyond hatred. It was pain, shock, complete disbelief that he'd been wounded. He limped toward me, muttering ancient Greek curses. Something stopped him. It was as if a cloud covered the sun, but worse. Light faded, sound and color drained away. A cold, heavy presence passed over the beach, slowing time, dropping the temperature to freeze, making me feel like life was hopeless. Fighting was useless. Whoa. 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 The darkness lifted. Ares looked stunned. Police cars were burning behind us. The crowd of spectators had fled. Annabeth and Grover stood on the beach, in shock, watching the water flood back around Ares' feet, his glowing golden ichor dissipating in the tide. Ares lowered his sword. What? You have made an enemy, godling, he told me. You have sealed your fate. Every time you raise your blade in battle, every time you hope for success, you will feel my curse. Beware, Perseus Jackson. Beware. His body began to glow. Percy! Annabeth shouted. Don't watch! And turned away as the god Ares revealed his true immortal form. I somehow knew that if I looked, I would disintegrate into ashes. The light died. I looked back. Ares is gone. The tide rolled out to reveal Ares' bronze helm of darkness. I picked it up and walked toward my friends. Before I got there, I heard the flapping of leathery wings. 3 evil-looking grandmothers with lace hats and fiery whips drifted down from the sky and landed in front of me. The middle Fury, the one who had been Mrs. Dodd, stepped forward. Her fangs were bared, but for once she didn't look threatening. She looked more disappointed, as she'd planned to have me for supper, but I decided I might give her indigestion. We saw the whole thing, she hissed. So it truly was not you. I tossed her the helmet, which she caught in surprise. Return that to Lord Hades, I said. Tell him the truth. Tell him to call off the war. She hesitated, then ran a forked tongue over her green leathery lips. Live well, Percy Jackson. Become a true hero. Because if you do not, if you ever come into my clutches again, she cackled, savoring the idea. Then she and her sisters rose on their bat wings, fluttered into the smoke-filled sky, and disappeared. I joined Grover and Annabeth, who were staring at me in amazement. Percy, Grover said. That was so incredibly terrifying, said Annabeth. Cool, Grover corrected. You love to see it. Grover thinking that was cool. What? I didn't feel terrified. I certainly didn't feel cool. I was tired and sore, completely drained of energy. Did you guys feel that? Whatever it was? I asked. They both nodded uneasily. Must have been the Furies overheard, Grover said, but I wasn't so sure. Something had stopped Ares from killing me. Whatever could do that was a lot stronger than the Furies. I looked at oh, okay. Okay. That makes sense, because I was about to say, why did he stop the fight? Like, that's my first post-chapter thought was about to be, why did he stop the fight? But something had stopped Ares from killing him. That's the only way. It was like, you could still go. But yeah. One second. I looked at Annabeth, and an understanding passed between us. I knew now what was in that pit, what I'd spoken from the entrance of Tartarus. I reclaimed my backpack from Grover and looked inside the master bolt was there. Such a small thing to almost cause World War III. I have to get back to New York, I said. By tonight. That's impossible, Annabeth said. Unless we fly, I agreed. She shouted at me, fly, like in an airplane? Which you were warned never to do, lest Zeus strike you out of the sky, in carrying a weapon that has more destructive power than a nuclear bomb? Yeah, I said. Pretty much exactly like that. Come on. Dang. Okay. That might have been my favorite chapter I have read. Because, just a little post-chapter thoughts before we continue. But because, like, that is... This is basically everything that happened in the show. But with, like, sometimes more detail and more personality. Like, that fight felt a lot more epic than in the show. And a lot more, like... What's the word? Like climactic. That's the word I'm looking for. I wish that in the show we had gotten some glimpse of Percy finally, like, understanding his powers like he does in this. Like, being aware that the sea will just do what he wants it to do. Like, because we didn't really get that clear in the show. Like, I assumed that the wave was Poseidon. And maybe that's what the show wanted us to assume too. Maybe this time it was Poseidon in the show and not him. It was like, oh, that's Poseidon. But in this, it was Percy, and I think that's really freaking sick. Because obviously we don't get like the cutaway stuff that we got in the show, where Percy is like the speech of Poseidon is gonna be by his side, and the ocean is there and stuff like that, and stuff that makes it feel like it's more than just him. It's like it's just Percy, it's just his vision. We don't know what's happening anywhere. We don't know anything about the Hermes New York City thing. We don't know anything about the decision with Percy's mom and Percy coming, his dad coming to see him before he went off to Yancey. I assume that was in the show. So that made it feel epic. The presence that Poseidon would be there. What I would have done in the show, to be honest, if you didn't want to like have Percy do this thing, and you didn't want to like take out some stuff that was like made it more feel like, because it was clear that you didn't want to make it feel like Ares. They still made it feel like Ares was being controlled, like he was like just in denial about stuff in that. Like he was like, gods don't dream. No one tells the god of war to start a war and all that he said in the show. But they didn't do the thing where it's like how did Percy describe it again? It was like, it was as if a cloud covered the sun, but worse, light faded and sound and color drained away. A cold and heavy presence pressed over the beach, slowing time, dropping the temperature to freezing, and making me feel like life was hopeless, fighting was useless. Like that. We didn't get that. We just got like first blood, and that was still cool, and you could still see that Ares was arrogant in that sort of thing. But I think it was really fully fleshed out in this. I think this is a better fight than the movie for sure. Dang, that was really freaking cool, man. That was so sick. I really wish my arm wasn't in a lot of pain right now. But whatever, it is what it is. Alright. But yeah, this was my favorite chapter that I've read so far. Just the way he's like wave and like the waters. Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool, dude. Alright, time to head into the next chapter. Chapter 21, I Settle My Tab. It's funny how humans can wrap their mind around things and fit them into their version of reality. Chiron had told me that long ago. As usual, I didn't appreciate his wisdom until much later. Oh, I read that completely wrong. It's funny how humans can wrap their minds around things and fit them into their version of reality. Chiron had told me that long ago. As usual, I didn't appreciate his wisdom until much later. According to the LA News, the explosion at Santa Monica Beach had been caused when a crazy kidnapper fired a shotgun at police. He accidentally hit a gas main, and that had ruptured during the earthquake. The crazy kidnapper, aka Ares, was the same man who had abducted me and the two other adolescents in New York and brought us across country on a 10-day odyssey of terror. Poor little Percy Jackson wasn't an international criminal after all. He'd caused a commotion on that Greyhound bus in New Jersey trying to get away from his captor, and afterwards, witnesses would even swear they had seen the leather-clad man on the bus. Why didn't I remember him before? The crazy man had caused the explosion in the St. Louis Arch after all. No kid could have done that. A concerned waitress in Denver had seen the man threatening his abductees outside her diner and gotten a friend to take a photo and noticed the police finally. I like the show better than the movies. Objectively correct opinion, Madeline. Also, welcome to the stream. I don't know how long you've been here, but welcome to the stream. Since it's the first time I'm seeing you in chat. It's always nice to have you here. Nice to have all you here. But I'm only going to address people I see in chat, because I have no idea who those numbers are. Finally, brave Percy Jackson. I was beginning to like this kid. It's funny. Had stolen a gun from his captor in Los Angeles and battled him shotgun to rifle. Bro. What? That's so sick. That's what the people think happened? That's still a dope story. On the beach, police had arrived just in time, but in this spectacular explosion, 5 police cars had been destroyed and the captor had fled. No fatalities had occurred. Percy Jackson and his 2 friends were safely in police custody. Bro, if I saw that and I knew that kid, I'd be like, yo, That kid who goes to my school, he's a freaking badass. He's a badass. What? That's so dope. So, like, the mist is crazy. The mist will make you think things will end up fixing things and everything. Just like this. That's dope. The reporters fed us this whole story. We just nodded and acted tearful and exhausted, which wasn't hard, and played victimized kids for the cameras. All I want, I said, choking back my tears, is to see my loving stepmother again. Every time I saw him on TV calling me a delinquent punk, I knew somehow we would be okay. And I know he'll want to reward each and every person in this beautiful city of Los Angeles with a free major appliance from his store. You'll love to see it. Here's the phone number. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. The police and reporters were so moved that they passed around the hat and raised money for 3 tickets on the next plane to New York. I knew there was no choice but to fly. I hoped Zeus would cut me some slack considering the circumstances, but it was still hard to force myself on board the flight. This is the first time he's taken a plane, right? Takeoff was a nightmare. Every spot of turbulence was scarier than a Greek monster. I didn't unclench my hands from the armrest until we touched down safely at LaGuardia. The local press was waiting for us outside security, but we managed to evade them thanks to Annabeth, who lured them away in her invisible Yankees cap, shouting, "They're over here, by the frozen yogurt! Come on!" Then rejoined us at baggage claim. You love to see it. We split up at the taxi stand. I told Annabeth and Grover to get back to Half-Blood Hill and let Kyra know what had happened. They protested. It was hard to let them go after all he'd been through. But I knew I had to do this last part of this quest by myself. If things went wrong, if the gods didn't believe me, I wanted Annabeth and Grover to survive to tell Kyron the truth. I hopped in a taxi and headed into Manhattan. 30 minutes later, I walked into the lobby of the Empire State Building. I must have looked like a homeless kid, but with my tattered clothes and scraped up face, I had slept in at least 24 hours. I went up to the guard at the front desk and said, 600th floor. He was reading a huge book with a picture of a wizard on the front. I wasn't much into fantasy, but the book must have been good. Is that a Harry Potter reference? Did he reference Harry Potter in this? This has definitely got to be a Harry Potter reference, because I know that in some aspects, people probably don't like to admit, but at least in some aspects, Percy Jackson is very inspired by Harry Potter. You can just even tell by, like, the title, like, structure, like, it's person's first and last name. It was around that time of YA novels when everybody was trying to have their own Percy Jackson. The structure of the trio is very similarly to Harry Potter. And, like, even one of them is afraid of spiders. One of them is a scaredy cat. One of them is a smart girl. You know what I mean? One of them is a bitch, and he's through his point of view, and he's the main character. And the name is there are some things that are very Harry Potter about this, but all like the most important bits, other than like the 3 characters, everything else, like the most superficial things are very Harry Potter, and you can tell because of that era. But everything else is just like its own thing entirely. I don't know. I haven't read Harry Potter, so I don't know how similar they are in book, but at least in movie, and what I can tell from like outside looking in storytelling from that bit, because I've seen both the Harry Potter movies and the Percy Jackson and so on. I've read this book. It's like it feels completely different. It feels completely different when you get down into the real nitty gritty of the story and the world. Why did I go on this rant? 30 minutes later. Oh yeah, Harry Potter reference. That's right. No such floor, kiddo. I'd an audience with Zeus. He gave me a vacant smile. Sorry. You heard me. I was about to decide this guy was just a regular mortal, and I'd better run for it before he comes to see the straight jacket patrol. When he said, no appointment, no audience. Kiddo, Lord Zeus doesn't see anyone unannounced. Oh, I think I'll make an exception. He's about to slam the freaking lightning bolt on the desk, bro. Mic drop. I slipped off my backpack and unzipped the top. Zeus makes appointments? The guard... So, like, if I'm, like... I don't know. Medusa. I can make an appointment to see Zeus? Will he accept, or will he only accept, like, demigods? Or an appointment just a courtesy? Yes, that was a Harry Potter reference. Let's go! You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. Him acknowledging his basically the only other YA novel of this time that like made it into the zeitgeist. Well, it's the first one. He's the only other YA novel of this time that made it into the zeitgeist. Like his I wouldn't say his inspiration, but his like the One Piece to his Naruto, in a sense, is what this is. The Yu Yu Hakusho to his Bleach. The Dragon Ball to his One Piece. The Dragon Ball Z to his everything else. You know. The guard looked inside at the metal cylinder, not getting what it was for a second. Then his face went pale. That isn't. Yes, it is, I promise. You want me to take it out and... No. He scrambled out of his seat, fumbled around his desk for a key card, then handed it to me. Insert this into the security slot. Make sure nobody else is in the elevator with you. I did as he told me. As soon as the elevator doors closed, I slipped the key into the slot. The card disappeared, and a new button appeared on the console, a red one that said 600. I pressed it and waited. Muzak played. Why is music spelled like that? I don't get it. Raindrops keep falling on my head. Finally, ding, the door stood open. I stepped out and almost had a heart attack. I was standing in a narrow stone walkway in the middle of the air. One second. Okay. In the middle of the air. Below me was Manhattan from the height of an airplane. In front of me, white marble steps wound up the spine of a cloud into the sky. My eyes followed the stairway to its end, where my brain just could not accept what I saw. Look again, my brain said. We're looking, my eyes insisted. It's really there. From the top of the cloud. Also, Bright Junior Fernie, welcome to the stream. I forgot to say that earlier, I think. But welcome to the stream. I appreciate you being here. We're looking, my eyes. It's really there. From the top of the clouds rose the decapitated peak of a mountain. Its summit covered with snow. Clinging to the mountainside were dozens of multi-level palaces, a city of mansions, all with white columned porticos, gilded terraces, and bronze braziers. Glowing. How do you even know these words, 12-year-old? With a thousand fires. With a thousand fires. Roads wound crazily up to its peak, where the largest place gleamed against the snow. Precariously, I perched gardens bloomed with olive trees and rose bushes. I can make out an open-air market filled with colored tents, a stone amphitheater built on one side of the mountain, a hippodrome, and a coliseum on the other side. It was an ancient Greek city, except it wasn't in ruins. It was new and clean and colorful, the way Athens must have looked 2,500 years ago. This place can't be here, I told myself. The tip of a mountain hanging over New York City like a billion-ton asteroid. How could something like that be anchored above the Empire State Building, in plain sight of millions of people, and not get noticed? But here it was. And here I was. The mist and all that, Percy. My trip through Olympus was a daze. I passed some giggling wood nymphs who threw olives at me from their garden. Why? Hawkers in the middle of the market offered to sell me ambrosia on a stick. That's dope. That's hard. I would have bought that shit if I had drachma left, obviously. And a new shield. And a genuine glitter weave replica of the Golden Fleece. I would have bought all that. As seen on Hephaestus TV. Hephaestus TV, you'll love to see it. This is such a good part of the book. Welcome to the stream, Dancing Peers. You'll love to see it. Appreciate you being here. Also, yes, this is a very epic part of the book. Very epic. The 9 muses were tuning their instrument for a concert in the park, while a small crowd gathered, satyrs and naiads, and a bunch of good-looking teenagers who might have been minor gods and goddesses. Interesting. Nobody seemed worried about an impending civil war. In fact, everybody seemed in festive mood. Several of them turned to watch me pass and whispered to themselves. I climbed the main road toward the big palace at the peak. It was a reverse copy of the palace in the underworld. Okay, so there aren't just 12 gods. So that's my question at the beginning of this is like 12 Olympian gods, but isn't there other people like Pan doesn't have a cabin? You know what I mean? Like, so there are other gods, but they aren't as major, I guess. It was a reverse copy of the palace in the underworld. Then everything had been black, and there everything had been black and bronze. Here everything glittered white and silver. I realized Hades must have built this palace to resemble this one. He wasn't welcome to Olympus except on the winter solstice, so he'd built his own Olympus underground. Despite my bad experience with him, I felt a little sorry for the guy. To be banished from this place seemed really unfair. It would make anybody bitter. Steps led up to a central courtyard. Past that, the throne room. Room really isn't the right word. This place made Grand Central Station look like a broom closet. Massive columns rose to the domed ceiling, which was gilded with moving constellations. 12 thrones, built for being the size of Hades, were arranged in an inverted U, just like the cabins at the Half-Blood. An enormous fire crackled in this. Ooh, I like that. The Half-Blood cabins mimic the throne room of Olympus. An enormous fire crackled in the central hearth pit. The thrones were empty, except for two at the end. The head throne on the right, and the one to its immediate left. I didn't have to be told who the two gods were that were sitting there, waiting for me to approach. That's so hard, bro. That's so epic. I came toward them, my legs trembling. The gods were in their giant human form, as Hades had been, but I could barely look at them without feeling a tingle as my body was starting to burn. Whoa. Whoa. Whoa! Zeus, the lord of the gods, wore a dark blue pinstriped suit, just like my boy Lance Reddick. You'll have to see him. Rest in peace. He sat on a simple throne of solid platinum. He had a well-trimmed beard, marbled gray and black like a storm cloud. His face was proud and handsome and grim. His eyes rainy gray. I'm just gonna picture him as Lance Reddick. Yeah. As I got nearer to him, the air crackled and smelled of ozone. The god sitting next to him was his brother, without a doubt, but he was dressed very differently. He reminded me of a beachcomber from Key West. He wore leather sandals, khaki Bermuda shorts, and a Tommy Bahama shirt with coconuts and paratello rim. Why didn't they dress Poseidon like that in the show? That's so funny. His skin was deeply tanned, his hands scarred like an old-time fisherman. His hair was black like mine. You mean blonde? Blonde like yours? His face had the same brooding look that had always gotten me branded a rebel, but his eyes, sea green like mine, were surrounded by sun crinkles that told me he smiled a lot too. Oh man, I love that description. Crinkles that told him he smiled a lot. That's such a beautiful description, man. His throne was a deep-sea fisherman's chair. It was the simple swiveling kind, with a black leather seat and a built-in holster for a fishing pole. Instead of a pole, the holster held a bronze trident, flickering with green light around the tips. Why know this? Why know this on Olympus? They should have done this. Given the thrones each their own character, you know what I mean? They can update it, obviously, for the next season of the show. It kind of break some shit, but I'd be perfectly fine with that if they did that. The gods weren't moving or speaking, but there was tension in the air, as if they just finished an argument. I approached the fisherman's throne and knelt at his feet. Father? I dared not look up. Come on, man. You gotta be like, sup, Pops? You gotta back him up, bro. You just fought the god of war. You know, you could say hi to your dad. You know what I mean? But what is it? Head work. I wonder how many times, don't tell me, obviously, this is just me thinking out loud, but I wonder how many times they will go to Olympus in this series. Like, is it a once a book thing? Once, this is the one time of the book they go to Olympus. Or is it like, I wonder if it's like we don't see Olympus again for 3 books, and we only see it in, like, I don't know, Battle of the Labyrinth and, friggin' The Last Olympian or whatever it is. Like, I wonder when the next time we'll see Olympus again is, because I feel like this book is like the, cause they already took a cross-country road trip around the world. The quest was short because obviously they had to introduce the world in the book. So I'm assuming the quest will be longer, more of the book in the other books. So like they already took a cross country road trip. We saw Camp Half-Blood. We saw Underworld. We saw Olympus. That's all the major bits in Greek mythology. Those are all the big spots you want to hit. So basically it's like a world tour, and everything will like focus more in depth on smaller stuff. I'm really curious to see like how the world will be explored in the other ones, because we've already explored the major bits. You know what I mean? So I wonder like there wouldn't be like anything if you're a big Greek mythology nerd. I guess if you're a big Greek mythology nerd, you know more than me because I don't know a lot about it. Maybe they'd be like, I'm waiting to see the Minotaur's labyrinth. I don't know, something. You know what I mean? Like that might be a thing. I'm just curious to see how the world's gonna be explored in the future books. Is basically what I'm trying to get at. I dared not look up at him. My heart was racing. I could feel the energy emanating from the two gods. If I said the wrong thing, I had no doubt they could blast me into the dust. To my left, Zeus spoke. Should you not address the master of his house first, boy? Should you not address the master of his house first, boy? I kept my head down and waited. Peace, brother, Poseidon finally said. His voice stirred. My oldest memories, that warm glow I remembered as a baby, sensation of this god's hand on my forehead. The boy defers to his father. This is only right. It's just like so grand. This is like so epic. You still claim him then? Duh. You can't. What was he supposed to do? Unclaim him? That's not how this works, Zeus. The hell? Zeus asked menacingly. You claim this child, whom you sired against our secret oath. I have admitted my wrongdoing, Poseidon said. No, I would hear him speak. Wrongdoing? A lump welled in my throat. Was that all I was? A wrongdoing? The result of a god's mistake? I had spared him once already, Zeus grumbled. Daring to fly through my domain? Pah! I should have blasted him out of the sky for his impudence. I'm happy that got referenced. And risk destroying your own master bolt, Poseidon asked calmly. Let us hear him out, brother. Zeus grumbled some more. I shall listen, he decided. This is interesting. This is obviously not how it went in the show, so I'm really interested. Then I shall make up my mind whether or not to cast this boy down from Olympus. Perseus, Poseidon said, look at me. I did, and I wasn't sure what I saw on his face. There was no clear sign of love or approval, nothing to encourage me. It was like looking at the ocean. Some days you could tell what mood it was in. Most days, though, it was unreadable, mysterious. That's so dope. Del May, yo, what's up? It's nice to see you in the stream again, man. Well, welcome back. I appreciate you. It's always nice to have you here. I got the feeling Poseidon really didn't know what to think of me. He didn't know whether he was happy to have me as a son or not. In a strange way, I was glad that Poseidon was so distant. If he tried to apologize, or told me he loved me, or even smiled, it would have felt fake. I like that. They very much mimic that in the show. I'm happy about that. That's cool. Very much felt fake. Like a human dad. Making some lame excuse for not being around. I could live with that. After all, I wasn't sure about him yet either. Address Lord Zeus, boy, Poseidon told me. Tell him your story. He is very distant. That's pretty cool. But in an epic god way. I'm gonna join back in a bit. So yeah, all right, nice to have you at any time, man. So I told Zeus everything, just as it had happened. I took out the metal cylinder, which began sparking in the sky god's presence, and laid it at his feet. There was a long silence, broken only by the crackle of the hearth fire. Zeus opened his palm. The bolt flew into it. As he closed his fist, the metallic points flared with electricity, until he was holding what looked more like the classic thunderbolt. A 20-foot javelin of arching, hissing energy that made the hairs on my scalp rise. I sense the boy tells the truth, Zeus muttered, but that Ares would do such a thing. It is most unlike him, is it? He is proud and impulsive, Poseidon said. It runs in the family. Lord? I asked. They both said yes. I'm not calling my dad Lord. I'm calling you Pops, okay? Pops P. Papa Poseidon. Papa Poseidon. What's up? What's up, Papa Poseidon? What's up? Ares didn't act alone. Someone else something else came up with the idea. I described my dreams and the feeling I'd had on the beach, the momentary breath of evil that had seemed to stop the world and made Ares back off from killing me. In the dreams, I said. The voice told me to bring the bolt to the underworld. Ares hinted that he'd been having dreams too. I think he was being used, just as I was, to start a war. You are accusing Hades, after all, Zeus asked. No, I said. I mean, Lord Zeus, I've been in the presence of Hades. The feeling on the beach was different. It was the same thing I felt when I got close to that pit that was the entrance to Tartarus, wasn't it? Something powerful and evil is stirring down there. Something even older than the gods. Poseidon and Zeus looked at each other. They had a quick, intense discussion in ancient Greek. I only caught one word. Father. That's cool. In the context of this, that's cool. Poseidon made some kind of suggestion, but Zeus cut him off. Poseidon tried to argue. Zeus held up his hand angrily. We will speak of this no more, Zeus said. I must go, personally, to purify this thunderbolt in the water of Lemnos, to remove the human taint from its metal. He rose and looked at me, his expression softened just a fraction of a degree. You have done me a service, boy. Few heroes could have accomplished as much. On his first try, too. You love to see it. I had help, sir, I said. Grover Underwood and Annabeth Chase. To show you my thanks, I shall spare your life. I do not trust you, Perseus Jackson. I do not like what your arrival means for the future of Olympus, but for the sake of peace and the family, I shall let you live. Well, he's a lot nicer than in the show. Thank you, sir. Do not presume to fly again. Do not let me find you here when I return. Otherwise, you shall taste this thunderbolt, and it will be your last sensation. Wow, Percy can never fly. Ever. Ever. That's a bitch move, Zeus. Thunder shook the powers with the I brought not you the bolt. You know, whatever. Thunder shook the palace with a blinding flash of lightning. Zeus was gone. I was alone in the throne room with my father. Your uncle, Poseidon sighed, has always had a flair for the dramatic exits. Both met his dad and both his uncles in the first book. I think I really like that, though. How better to introduce you in the world? Hey, his dad, here's uncle, here's a cousin or two. Yeah, his cousin Dionysus and his cousin Ares. I think he would have done well as the god of theater. An uncomfortable silence. Sir, I said, what was in that pit? Poseidon regarded me. Have you not guessed? Kronos, I said. The king of the Titans? Even the throne room of Olympus, far away from Tartarus, the name Kronos darkened the room, made the hearth fire seem not quite so warm on my back. Poseidon gripped his trident. In the first war, Percy, Zeus cut our father Kronos into 1,000 pieces, just as Kronos had done to his father, Orinus. Ooh, whoa. I didn't know Kronos had a dad that he killed. Dang. Are we ever gonna fight Orinus? Is that ever gonna be... Is he like the Kaguya to Kronos' Mata? Is that a thing? Zeus cast Kronos' remains into the darkest pit of Tartarus. The Titan army was scattered there. Mountain fortress on Etna destroyed their monstrous allies driven to the farthest corners of the earth. And yet, Titans cannot die, any more than we gods can. Whatever is left of Kronos is still alive in some hideous way, still conscious in his eternal pain, still hungering for power. He's healing, I said. He's coming back. What a dope plot to give this book. What a dope plot that I think really encapsulates the epicness that is Greek mythology, man. Damn, Rick Riordan was really... He really did that shit. He really did that. Poseidon shook his head. From time to time, over the eons, Kronos had stirred. He enters men's nightmares and breathes evil thoughts. He weakens restless monsters from the depths, but to suggest he could rise from the pit is another thing. That's what he intends, Father. That's what he said. Poseidon was silent for a long time. Okay, so they knew the whole time that Kronos was coming. Okay. At least in the books, because from the movies it was like, oh, I guess it was just Luke all along. But no, Kronos. Lord Zeus had... I climbed through the depths of Tartarus to find this. And Cleveland. It's fucking funny. Lord Zeus had closed discussion on this matter. He will not allow talk of Kronos. You have completed your quest, child. That is all you need to do. But I stopped myself. Arguing would do no good. It would very possibly anger the only god who I had on my side. As you wish, Father. He's not saying Dad yet. A faint smile played on his lips. Obedience does not come naturally to you, does it? No, sir. Oh, these are the exact lines from the show, from the book, from the show. They did that. I love when they do that. I must take some blame for that, I suppose. He does not like to be restrained. He rose to his full height and took up his trident. Then he shimmered and became the size of a regular man, standing directly in front of me. You must go, child. But first, know that your mother has returned. I stared at him, completely stunned. My mother? You will find her at home. Hades sent her when you recovered his helm. Even the Lord of Death pays his debts. My heart was pounding. I couldn't believe it. Would you... I wanted to ask if Poseidon would come with me to see her, but then I realized that was ridiculous. I imagined loading the god of sea into a taxi and taking him to the Upper East Side. If he'd wanted to see my mom all these years, he would have. And there was Smelly Gabe to think about. Smelly Gabe wouldn't be doing shit. The god of the sea walked into his apartment. What are you gonna do? Hey man, you want some beers, man? That's what he sounds like. Poseidon's eyes took on a little sadness. When you return home, Percy, you must make an important choice. You'll find a package waiting in your room. A package? You'll understand when you see it. No one can choose your path, Percy. You must decide. I nodded, though I didn't know what he meant. Your mother is a queen among women, Poseidon said wistfully. I had not met such a mortal woman in 1,000 years. Still, I am sorry you were born, child. I have brought you a hero's fate, and a hero's fate is never happy. It is never anything but tragic. I tried not to feel hurt. Here was my own dad, telling me he was sorry I'd been born. I don't mind, Father. Not yet, perhaps, he said. Not yet. But it was an unforgivable mistake on my part. I'll leave you then. I bowed awkwardly. I won't bother you again. I was 5 steps away when he called, Perseus! I turned. There was a different light in his eyes, a fiery kind of pride. You did well, Perseus. I love how he calls him by his full Greek name. Do not misunderstand me. Whatever else you do, know that you are mine. You are a true son of the sea god. Bro, this dialogue, dude. As I walked back through the city of the gods, conversation stopped. The muses paused their concerts. People in satyrs and naiads all turned toward me, their faces filled with respect and gratitude. And as I passed, they knelt, as if I were some kind of hero. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. 15 minutes later, still in a trance, I was back on the streets of Manhattan. I got a taxi to my mom's apartment. I rang the doorbell, and there she was, my beautiful mother, smelling of peppermint and licorice. The weariness and worry evaporating from her face. As soon as she saw me, Percy, oh thank goodness, oh my baby, aw. You'll love to see it. She crushed the air right out of me. We stood in the, hey mom, while you were gone, I saved the world. You know what it is. We stood in the hallway as she cried and ran her hands through my hair. I'll admit it, my eyes were a little misty too. I was shaking. I was so relieved to see her. She told me she'd just appeared in the apartment that morning, scaring Gabe half out of his wits. She didn't remember anything since the Minotaur and couldn't believe it when Gabe told her I was a wanted criminal traveling across the country, blowing up national monuments. She'd been going out of her mind with worry all day because she hadn't heard the news. Gabe had forced her to go into work, saying she had a month's salary to make up and she'd better get started. Wow. What a bitch. I swallowed back my anger and told her my own story. I tried to make it sound less scary than it had been, but that wasn't easy. I was just getting... I mean, it wasn't that scary, Percy. You only got attacked the first day, and then you had to do the god thing, and like, go to Hephaestus's water park, and then after that, it was basically peaches and rainbows. You know what I mean? Till you got to the underworld, obviously, but then it was peaches and rainbows. Then you had to fight Ares, but then it was peaches and rainbows. But then it was over. I saw back my anger and told her the story. I was just getting into the fight with Ares when she was on the edge of her seat, like, you were fighting Ares, and then what happened? You fought Ares? When Gabe's voice interrupted from the living room. Hey, Sally! The meatloaf done yet or what? She closed her eyes. He is going to be happy to see you, Percy. The store got 500,000 phone calls today from Los Angeles. Something about free appliances. God, I love that. That's so funny. Oh yeah, about that. She managed a weak smile. Just don't make him angry, alright? Come on. I mean, in the skills that he's acquired in this last month, I'm sure he could go toe-to-toe with Gabe and win that fight. In the month I'd be gone, the apartment had turned into Gabe land. Garbage was ankle deep on the carpet. The sofa had been flostered in beer cans. Dirty socks and underwear hung off the lampshades. Gabe and 3 of his big, goony friends were playing poker at the table. When Gabe saw me, his cigar dropped out of his mouth. His face got redder than lava. You got nerve coming here, you little punk. I thought the police... He's not a fugitive after all, my mom predicted. Isn't that wonderful, Gabe? Gabe looked back and forth between us. He didn't seem to think my homecoming was so wonderful. Bad enough I had to give back your life insurance money, Sally. What a bitch. Give me the phone, I'll call the cops. Gabe, no, he raised his eyebrows. Did you just say no? Sir, I'm sorry. Percy, kick his ass. Percy, kick his ass. You think I'm gonna put up with this punk again? I can still press charges against him for ruining my Camaro. You can't, though. He's 12. Well, I guess he can, but he wouldn't be tried in a court as an adult, so I guess he can, but, like, I can kick your ass. I'm Percy fucking Jackson. I beat the God of War. You know what it is. He raised his hand, and my mother flinched. For the first time, I realized something. Gabe had hit my mother. I didn't know when, or how much, but I was sure he'd done it. Maybe it had been going on for years, when I wasn't around. A balloon of anger started expanding in my chest. I came toward Gabe, instinctively taking out my pen out of my pocket. He just laughed. What, punk? You got a right on me? You touch me and you're going to jail forever, you understand? Hey, Gabe. His friend Eddie interrupted. He's just a kid. Gabe looked at me resentfully and mimicked in a falsetto voice, just a kid. His other friends laughed like idiots. I'll be nice to you, punk. Gabe showed me his tobacco-stained teeth. I'll give you 5 minutes to get your stuff and clear out. After that, I called the police. Gabe! My mother pleaded. He ran away. So Gabe is the true final boss. He's the true final villain of Percy Jackson. None of this Ares nonsense. None of this Ares nonsense. Gabe! Anyway. Gabe told her. He ran away. He went away, Gabe told her. Let him stay gone. I was itching to uncap Riptide, but even if I did, the blade wouldn't hurt humans. And Gabe, by the loosest definition, was human. My mother took my arm. Please, Percy. Come on, we'll go to your room. I let her pull me away, my hands still trembling with rage. My room had... No, beat his ass. Beat his ass. What are you doing? My room had completely filled... He's like, we'll take this... Let's take this down to the beach, Gabe. Let's take this down to the beach. I'll show you what for. Or just, like, turn on the faucets or something. Like, turn on the faucets and I'll be like... Da-da-da-da-da-da, you know? My room had completely filled with Gabe's junk. There were stacks of used car batteries, a rotting bouquet of sympathy flowers with a card from somebody who'd seen his Barbara Walters interview. Gabe was just upset, honey, my mother told me. I'll talk to him later. I'm sure it will work out. Mom, it'll never work out. Not as long as Gabe's here. She wrung her hands nervously. I'll take you to work with me for the rest of the summer. In the fall, maybe it's another boarding school. Mom. She lowered her eyes. I'm trying, Percy. I need some time. A package appeared on my bed. At least I could have sworn it hadn't been there before. It was a battered cardboard box. the right about the right size to fit a basketball. The address, the mailing was in my own handwriting. The Gods, Mount Olympus, 600th floor, my Empire State Building, New York, with best wishes, Percy Jackson. Over the top, in black marker, in a man's clear, bold print, was the address of our apartment, within the words, "Return to sender." Suddenly I understood what Poseidon had told me on Olympus. A package, a decision. Whatever else you do, know that you are mine. You are a true son of the sea god. I looked at my mother. Mom, do you want Gabe gone? Percy, it isn't that simple. Mom, just tell me. This jerk has been hitting you. Do you want him gone or not? He's like, listen, Mom. Say the word. I know. I know a guy. I know a gal. Get rid of him lickety split. I can murder him for you real quick. I got friends in high places, and I got friends in magical places, Mom. She hesitated, then nodded almost imperceptibly. Yes. Percy, I do. I'm trying to get up my courage to tell him, but you can't do this for me. You can't solve my problems. I looked at the box. I could solve her problem. I wanted to slice that package open and plop it on the poker table and take out what was inside. I could start my very own statue garden right there in the living room. That's what a Greek hero would do in the stories. I thought, that's what Gabe deserves. That's so true. Dang. But a hero's stories always ended in tragedy. Poseidon told me that. I remembered the underworld. I thought about Gabe's spirit drifting forever in the fields of asphodel, or condemned to the hideous torture behind the barbed wire of the fields of punishment. Dang, he sees where he's about to send Gabe. Maybe not. I wonder if petrified people stay in their bodies. That'd be honestly worse, I think. Little poker game, sitting up to his waist in boiling oil, listening to opera music. Did I have the right to send someone there? Even Gabe? Oof. 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 Moral dilemma? What? A month ago, I wouldn't have hesitated. Now, I can do it, told my mother. One look inside the box, and it'll never bother you again. She glanced at the package and seemed to understand immediately. No, Percy, she said, saving away. You can't. Yeah, Mom, I've murdered a lot of people in the past couple of days. Poseidon called you a queen, I told her. He said he hadn't met a woman like you in 1,000 years. Her cheeks flushed. Percy. You deserve better than this, Mom. You should go to college, get your degree. You can write your novel, named Percy Jackson. Meet a nice guy. Maybe. Live in a nice house. You don't need to protect me anymore by staying with Gabe. Let me get rid of him. She wiped a tear off her cheek. You sound so much like your father, she said. He offered to stop the tide for me once. He offered to give me a palace at the bottom of the sea. He thought he could solve all my problems with the wave of his hand. Because he can. Because he's literally God. What's wrong with that? Her multicolored eyes seemed to search inside me. I think you know, Percy. I think you're enough like me to understand. My life is going to mean anything. I have to live it myself. I can't let a god take care of me, or my son. I have to find the courage on my own. The quest has reminded me of that. You listen to the sound of poker chips and swearing ESPN from the living room television. Dang, this book is printed a little bit weird sometime. I'll leave the box, I said. If he threatens you, she looked pale, but she nodded. Where will you go? Percy. Half-Blood Hill. For the summer or forever? I guess that depends. 1 second. I'll leave the box, I said. If he threatens you, she looked pale, but she nodded. Where will you go? Percy. Half-Blood Hill, for the summer or forever? I guess that depends. We locked eyes, and I sensed that we had an agreement. We would see how things stood at the end of summer. She kissed my forehead. You'll be a hero, Percy. You'll be the greatest of all. I took one last look around my bedroom, and I had a feeling I'd never see it again. When I walked with my mother to the front door. Leaving so stoned, punk? Gabe called out to me. Good riddance. I had one last twinge of doubt. How could I turn down the perfect chance to take revenge on him? I was leaving here without saving my mother. Hey, Sally, he yelled. What about the meatloaf, huh? A steely look of anger flared in my mother's eyes. I thought, just maybe, I was leaving her in good hands after all. Her own. The meatloaf is coming right up, dear, she told Gabe. Meatloaf surprise? She looked at me and winked. The last thing I saw as the door swung was my mother staring at Gabe, as if she was contemplating how he would look as a garden statue. Dang. A lot happened in that chapter. A lot happened. It's a big old boy. I don't know, maybe it's just my inexperience with reading, but Rick likes to make some of these chapters beefy. Some of these chapters I feel could be 2 chapters with like 2 complete ideas. One, the apartment chapter, and one, the Olympus bit. But that was still really good. I don't really have too many thoughts except for like, I'm really curious what's going to happen next. And I'm really curious, because I still don't know, even though I watched it, I still don't know what the prophecy meant by he will fail to save what matters most. I still don't know what that means. Ooh! But I think I did just get something, though. I've been confused about the oracle of the fates and the cutting of the string. Can someone tell me? It maybe, I guess if it doesn't get revealed in this book, someone tell me later. Tell me at least it gets revealed later. But if it doesn't get revealed in this book, tell me, is the string cutting, is it Gabe? Is it Gabe that the string was cut for? So I don't know who else it could be. But yeah, I'm wondering what he means by failed to save what matters most. Is it because he failed to save his mom twice, and his mom has to save herself? Is that what that means? Because if so, Rick is amazing at writing prophecies. I failed to say what matters. That's such like cryptic, beautifully cryptic, I feel. No, you will find out later. Okay, thank you. So I was very confused what the fates cutting the string was about, but thank you. All right. The final chapter of this book, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, which is a banger title. The Lightning Thief, man. The prophecy comes true. All right. Let's get it popping. Failed to say what matters most is Percy not saving his mom from Hades. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Anthony Belding. I don't know if I haven't said hi to you yet. Hi, Anthony. Thank you for the clarification and welcome to the stream. I appreciate you. Thank you a lot. Alright. We were the first heroes to return alive to Half-Blood Hill. Since Luke, so of course everybody treated us as if we'd won some reality TV contest. According to camp tradition, we wore laurel wreaths to a big feast prepared in our honor. Ben led a procession down to the bonfire, where we got to burn the burial shrouds our cabin had made for us in our absence. Annabeth's shrouds were so beautiful, gray silk with embroidered owls. I told her it seemed a shame not to bury her in it. She punched me and told me to shut up. That's pretty funny. And also, so this is a camp builds graves for you, just in case you don't come back. That's pretty interesting. I actually like that. Dang, it really feels like after all this epicness, like calm down, just return to status quo. Like I like that a lot. Like after all, like 2 chapters of like so many chapters, honestly, like maybe 3 or more in a row of like incredible epicness. It's like, all right, time to calm down a little bit. Emma Shaw was so beautiful, gray silk with embroidered owl. I told her it seemed a shame not to bury her in it. She punched me and told me to shut up. Being the son of Poseidon, I didn't have any cabin mates, so the Ares cabin had volunteered to make my shroud. What? That's so sweet. Even though I just kicked your dad's bitch ass. And you know what? They'd taken an old bedsheet and painted smiley faces with X'd out eyes around the border with the word loser. Never mind, I should have read a little bit farther. Never mind. I still kicked your dad's ass, so. Painted really big in the middle. It was fun to burn. As Apollo's cabin with the sing-along, and passed out s'mores, I was surrounded by my old Hermes cabin mates, and the best friends from Athena and Grover's Satyr buddies, who were admiring the brand new searcher's license he'd received from the Council of Cloven Elders. You love to see it. The council had held Grover's performance on the quest brave to the point of indigestion. Was it? What did he do? What did Grover do? He fought Athena. No, he didn't fight Athena. He fought Medusa. If he fought Athena, that'd be crazy. He fought Medusa. What did he do after that? Well, he just followed Percy around everywhere, did everything he did. So, but the bravest thing I remember doing was fighting Medusa. Horns and whiskers above anything we have seen in the past. Whoa, dang! They're the goated ones. After one book, they're the goated ones. Now I'm really curious how they're about to outlive this. Actually, I'm curious. Without spoilers, those who are in the chat and those who type, which is hopefully all of you for this, 'cause I'm really curious. What is, like, how would you rank the Percy Jackson books? Like, where does this one stack next to the others in the first series? No House of Hades or anything like House of Heroes of Olympus or anything like that included. Where would you guys rank this book specifically, and also all the others, I guess? The only ones not in a party mood were Clarice and her cabin mates, whose poisonous looks told me they'd never forgive me for disgracing their dad. Maybe he shouldn't be a bitch, probably. That was okay with me. Even Dionysus' welcome home speech wasn't enough to dampen my spirits. Yes, the little brat didn't get himself killed, and now he'll have an even bigger head. Well, huzzah for that. And in other announcements, there will be no canoe races this Saturday. People don't like Sea of Monsters. I was really excited for Sea of Monsters. 2, 3, 1, 4, 5. Okay, interesting. This book is definitely top 3, but they're all really good. 2, 3, 4, 1, 5. Okay, interesting. I've seen a lot of 2s and 3s. 2s and 3s at the bottom and 5 at the and 5 at the top. Well, I'm seeing 2 of those, but do you agree, Delmay, with that that thing? Oof. I'm still excited for Sea of Monsters because it'll be something that, not because Sea of Monsters is bad, is because the competition is tough. Okay, alright, that's exciting. That is very exciting. I moved back into cabin 3, but I didn't feel so lonely anymore. I had my friends to train with during the day. At night, I lay awake and listened to the sea, knowing my father was out there. Maybe he wasn't quite sure about me yet. Maybe he hadn't even wanted me born, but he was watching me, and so far he was proud of what I'd done. 2, 3, 1, 5, 4. Ooh, okay. This guy doesn't like Last Olympian most. He likes, what's that? Battle of Labyrinth. Okay, dang. People really think the Sea of Monsters is the worst amongst the first 5. That's really interesting. I don't know. For some reason, I got the feeling that's what it was. That the Sea of Monsters wasn't the favorite. Like, I don't know. You can kind of look at the book titles, the book covers, and tell like they cared about the Sea of Monsters cover the least. But okay. Good to know. Good to know. Where was I again? And so far, he was proud of what I'd done. As for my mother, she had the chance to get a new life. Her letter arrived a week after I got back to camp. She told me Gabe had left mysteriously, disappeared off the face of the planet. In fact, she reported him missing to the police, but she had a funny feeling they would never find him. She murdered the fuck out of that man. On a completely unrelated subject, she'd sold her first life-sized concrete sculpture. Is her mom gonna make a sculpture business? I mean, hopefully she doesn't make a business, because that would involve killing a lot of people. But that's still funny. Entitled The Poker Player. to a collector through an art gallery in Soho. That's a wild ending. I love it. I know it's Disney and all, but I wish they would have done that. I wish they would have done the more direct thing. She'd gotten so much money for it, she put a deposit on a new apartment and made a payment on her first semester tuition at NYU. You'll love to see it. You'll love to see it. The Soho Gallery was clamoring for more of her work, which they called a huge step forward in super ugly neo-realism. Oh, that's good. But don't worry, my mom wrote, I'm done with sculpture. I've disposed of that box of tools you left me. Time for me to return to writing. At the bottom she wrote, P.S. Percy, I found a good private school here in the city. I put a deposit down to hold you a spot in case you want to enroll for 7th grade. You could live at home, but if you want to go year-round at Half-Blood Hill, I'll understand. I folded the note carefully and set it on my bedside table every night before I went to sleep. I read it again and tried to decide how to answer her. On the 4th of July, the whole camp gathered at the beach for fireworks display by Cabin 9. Being Hephaestus' kids, they weren't going to settle for a few lame red and white and blue explosions. They anchored a barge offshore and loaded it with rockets the size of Patriot missiles. According to Annabeth, who'd seen the show before the blast would be sequenced so tightly they'd look like the frames of animation across the sky. That's hype. The finale was supposed to be a couple of 100-foot-tall Spartan warriors who'd crackle to life above the ocean and fight a battle, then explode into a million colors. I think in honor of Percy being dope, they should do a thing about his fight against Ares, but whatever you want to do, I guess Hephaestus' kids. As Annabeth and I were spreading a picnic blanket, Grover showed up to tell us goodbye. He was dressed in his usual jeans and t-shirt and sneakers. But in the last few weeks, he'd started to look older, almost high school age. His goatee had gotten thicker, he'd put on weight. His horns had grown at least an inch. So he now had to wear his Rasta cap all the time to pass as human. I'm off, he said. I just came to say, well, you know. Well, hold on, what? Grover should have told us goodbye. Oh, he's leaving on his quest. That's so sad. Dang, yeah, Pan wasn't mentioned at all in the movies. Like, at all. He dressed in his usual jeans t-shirt. Okay. I'm off, he said. I just came to say, well, you know. I tried to feel happy for him. After all, it wasn't every day a satyr got permission to go look for the great god Pan. But it was hard to saying goodbye. I've only known Grover for a year. Yet he was my oldest friend. Annabeth gave him a hug. She told him to keep his fake feet on. This corner of the book is pissing me off because it's wet and shit. I don't know why it's wet. Or it's just paper. Maybe the second thing. I asked him where he was going to search first. Kind of a secret, he said, looking embarrassed. I wish you could come with me, guys. But humans and Pan... We understand, Annabeth said. You got enough tin cans for the trip? Yeah. And you remembered your reed pipes? Jeez, Annabeth, he grumbled. You're like an old mama goat. But he didn't really sound annoyed. He gripped his walking stick and slung a backpack over his shoulder. He looked like any hitchhiker you might see on an American highway. Nothing like the runty boy I used to defend from bullies at Yancey Academy. Dang. Well, he said, wish me luck. He gave Annabeth another hug. He clapped me on the shoulder. He clapped me on the shoulder, then headed back through the dunes. Fireworks exploded to life overhead. Hercules killing the Nemean lion, Artemis chasing the boar, George Washington, who by the way was the son of Athena, crossing the Delaware. I remember something. I hear seeing a meme about that or something. That is one change I found interesting between the book and the show, since they purposely made Gabe less awful in the show. They didn't make Sally kill him, but he died because he was an ass. Yeah. Yeah, it was kind of weird that it was less deserved in the show, I felt. But I'm like, since I know how he is in the books, I'm like, okay, whatever. Sure, why not? Hey, Grover, I called. He turned up the edge of the woods. Wherever you're going, I hope they make good enchiladas. Grover, you love a good callback. You love to see it. Grover grinned, and then he was gone, and the trees closing around him. We'll see him again, Annabeth said. I tried to believe it, but the fact that no searcher had ever come back in 2,000 years, I decided not to think about it. Grover would be the first. He had to be. July passed. I spent my days devising my new strategies for capture the flag and making alliances with other cabins to keep the banner out of Ares' hands. I got to the top of the climbing wall for the first time without getting scorched by lava. From time to time, I'd walk past the big house, glance up at the attic windows, and think about the oracle. I tried to convince myself that its prophecy had come to completion. We shall go west and face the god who has turned. Been there, done that. Even though the traitor god had turned out to be Ares rather than Hades. We shall find what was stolen and see its safe returned. Check. 1 Master Bolt delivered. 1 Helm of Darkness back on Hades' oily head. Hey, that's your uncle. Show some respect. You shall be betrayed by one who calls you a friend. This line still bothered me. Ares had pretended to be my friend, then betrayed me. That must be what the oracle meant. And you shall fail to save what matters most in the end. I had failed to save my mom, but only because I let her save herself, and I knew that was the right thing. So why was I still uneasy? The last night of the camp summer session came all too quickly. The campers had one last meal together. We burned part of our dinner for the gods at the bonfire. Senior counselors awarded the end of summer's beads. I got my own leather necklace. And when I saw the bead from my first summer, I was glad that the firelight covered my blushing. The design was pitch black, with a sea green trident shimmering in the center. The choice was unanimous, Luke announced. This bead commemorates the first son of the sea god at this camp, and the quest he undertook into the darkest part of the underworld to stop a war. That's so hard, bro. The camp got on their feet and cheered. Even Ares' cabin felt obliged to stand. Athena's cabin steered Annabeth to the front so she could share in the applause. I'm not sure I'd ever felt as happy or sad as I did at that moment. I'd finally found a family, people who cared about me, and thought I'd done something right. And in the morning, most of them would be leaving for the year. The next morning, I found a form letter on my bedside. I knew Dionysus must have filled it out because he bornly insisted on getting my name wrong. He stubbornly insisted on getting my name wrong. Dear Peter Johnson, if you intended to stay at Camp Half-Blood year-round, you must inform the big house by noon today. If you do not announce your intentions, we will assume you have vacated your cabin or died a horrible death. Cleaning harpies will begin at sundown. They will be authorized to eat any unregistered campers. All personal articles left behind will be incinerated in the lava pit. Have a nice day, Mr. D. Dionysus. Camp Director, Olympian Council Number 12. What? They're just gonna eat the campers that stay? That's another thing about ADHD. Deadlines just aren't real to me. He's just like me for real. He's just like me. Deadlines just aren't real to me. I'm staring one in the face. Summer was over and I still hadn't answered my mother or the camp about whether I'd be staying. Now I had only a few hours to decide. The decision should have been easy. I mean, 9 months of hero training or 9 months of sitting in the classroom. Duh. But there was my mom to consider. For the first time, I had the chance to live with her for a whole year. Without Gabe, I had a chance to be at home and knock around the city my free time. Remember what Annabeth had said so long ago on our quest. The real world is where the monsters are. That's where you learn whether you're any good or not. I thought about the fate of Thalia, daughter of Zeus. I wondered how many monsters would attack me if I left Half-Blood Hill. If I stayed in one place for a whole school year without Kyron or even my friends around to help me, my mother and I even survive until the next summer? That was assuming the spelling tests and 5 paragraphs essays didn't kill me. I decided I'd go down to the arena and do some sword practice. Maybe that would clear my head. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The campers were mostly deserted, shimmering in the August heat. All campers were in the cabins, packing up or running around with brooms and mops, getting ready for the final inspection. Argus was helping some of the Aphrodite kids haul their Gucci suitcases and makeup kits, of course, over the hill where the camp's shuttle bus would be waiting to take them. Who is Argus again? Can someone remind? I forgot who that is. Can someone remind me who Argus is? Don't think about leaving yet, I told myself. Just train. I got to the sword fighters arena and found that Luke had the same idea. His gym bag was plopped at the edge of the stage. He was working solo, wailing on the battle dummies with a sword I'd never seen before. It must have been a regular steel blade, because he was slashing the dummies' heads right off, stabbing through their straw-stuffed guts. His orange counselor's shirt was dripping with sweat. His expression was so intense, his life might have really been in danger. I watched, fascinated, as he disemboweled. Guy with a lot of eyes. Oh, thank you. The creepy guy. Thank you. Thank you. Disemboweled the whole row of dummies, hacking off limbs and basically reducing them to a pile of straw armor. They were only dummies. I still couldn't help being awed by Luke's skill. The guy was an incredible fighter. It made me wonder again how he possibly could have failed at his quest. Finally, yeah, I wonder that too. Finally, he saw me and stopped mid-swing. Ooh, my head is in this thing. I need not do that. How long was my head in this thing? I'm just gonna not do that again. It was probably in there for a while. Let me actually, while I'm paying attention, move this right there, so it will be less in this thing when I lean over. I do that a lot. They're only dummies. Finally, he saw me and stopped mid-swing. Percy! I'm sorry, I said, embarrassed. It's okay, he said, lowering his sword. Just doing some last-minute practice. Those dummies won't be bothering anybody anymore. Luke shrugged. We build new ones every summer. Now that his sword wasn't swirling around, I could see something odd about it. The blade was two different types of metal. One edge bronze, the other steel. Luke noticed me looking at it. Oh, this? New toy. This is Backbiter. Backbiter. Luke turned the blade in the light so it glinted wickedly. One side celestial bronze, the other is tempered steel. Works on mortals and immortals both. I thought about what Kyron told me when I started my quest. That a hero should never harm mortals, unless absolutely necessary. I didn't know they could make weapons like that. They probably can't, Luke agreed. It's one of a kind. Where'd you get it? He gave me a tiny smile and slid the sword into its scabbard. Listen, I was going to come looking for you. What do you say we go down to the woods one last time? Look for something to fight. I don't know why I hesitated. I should have felt relieved that Luke was being so friendly. Ever since I'd gotten back from this quest, he'd been acting a little distant. I was afraid he might resent me for all the attention I'd gotten. You come to think of it, you think it's a good idea? I asked. I mean, oh, come on. He rummaged in his gym bag and pulled out a six pack of Cokes. Drinks are on me. Yeah. Cokes. For sure. Right. I stared at the Cokes, wondering where the heck he'd gotten them. There was no regular mortal sodas at the camp store. No way he smuggled them in unless you talked to a satyr, maybe. Of course, the magic dinner goblets would fill with anything you want, but it didn't just taste the same as real Coke. Straight out of the can. Sugar and caffeine, my willpower crumbled. Sugar and caffeine, my willpower crumbled. Sure, I decided. Why not? We walked down to the woods and kicked around some kind of monster to fight, but it was too hot. All the monsters with any sense must have been taking siestas in their nice cool caves. So monsters hibernate. We found a shady spot by the creek where I'd broken Clarice's spear during my first capture the flag game. We sat on a big rock, drank our cokes, and watched the sunlight in the woods. After a while, Luke said, "You miss being on a quest? With monsters attacking me every 3 feet? Are you kidding?" And they didn't really. Luke raised an eyebrow. "Yeah, I miss it," I admitted. "You?" A shadow passed over his face. I was used to hearing from the girls how good-looking Luke was, but at the moment he looked weary and angry, and not at all handsome. His black hair was gray in the sunlight. A scar on his face looked deeper than usual. I could imagine him as an old man. "I have lived at Half-Blood Hill year-round since I was 14, he told me. "Ever since Thalia, well, you know. I trained and trained and trained. I never got to be a normal teenager out there in the real world. Then they threw me one quest. When I came back, it was like, okay, ride's over. Have a nice life." He crumpled his Coke can and threw it into the creek, which really shocked me. One of the first things you learn at Camp Halfwood is don't litter. You hear from the nymphs and the naiads. They'll get even. You'll crawl into bed one night and find your sheets filled with centipedes and mud. "The heck with laurel wreaths," Luke said. "I'm not going to end up like those dusty trophies in the big house attic." "Who the heck is Laurel Wreaths? Is she a naiad? What the heck? Who is that?" "I'm not going to end up like those dusty trophies in the big house attic." "You make it sound like you're leaving." Luke gave me a twisted smile. "Oh, I'm leaving, all right, Percy. I brought you down here to say goodbye." He snapped his fingers. A small fire burned a hole in the ground at my feet. Out crawled something glistening black, about the size of my hand. A scorpion. I started to go for my pen. "I wouldn't," Luke cautioned. "What?" "Pit scorpions can jump up to 15 feet. A stinger can pierce right through your clothes. You'll be dead in 60 seconds. "Luke, what?" Then it hit me. "You'll be betrayed by one who calls you a friend." So sad. "You," I said. He said calmly and brushed off his jeans. The scorpion paid him no attention. It kept its beady black eyes on me. Rick chose to reveal this really late in the book, man. Like, really late. But I kind of like that, actually. It leaves you with, like, this feeling of, fuck, you know? Scorpion paid no attention. I saw a lot out there in the world, Percy," Luke said. "Didn't you feel it? The darkness gathering, the monsters growing stronger. Didn't you realize how useless it all was? All the heroics, being pawns of the gods. They should have been overthrown thousands of years ago. But they've hung on, thanks to us half-bloods." I couldn't believe this was happening. "Luke, you're talking about our parents," I said. He laughed. "That's supposed to make me love them? They're precious. Western civilization is a disease, Percy. It's killing the world. The only way to stop it is to burn it to the ground. Start over. From something more honest. You're as crazy as Ares." I mean, Luke has a point. He has a point. His eyes flared. Ares is a fool. He never realized the true master he was serving. "If I had time, Percy, I could explain, but I'm afraid you won't live that long." "What? Sir, we are right near the water. Don't play this game with me. I am Percy fucking Jackson. You brought me up. Son of Poseidon. Don't play. Don't forget." The scorpion crawled onto my pants leg. There had to be a way out of this. I needed time to think. "Kronos," I said. "That's who you serve." The air got colder. "Should be more careful with names," Luke warned. "Kronos got you to steal the Master Bolt and the helm. He spoke to you in your dreams." Luke's eye twitched. "He spoke to you too, Percy. You should have listened." "He's brainwashing you, Luke. You're wrong. He showed me that my talents are being wasted." "You know what my quest was 2 years ago, Percy? My father, Hermes, wanted me to steal a golden apple from the garden of Hesperides and return it to Olympus. After all that training I'd done, that was the best he could think up." "It's not an easy quest," I said. "Hercules did it." "Exactly," Luke said. Where's the glory in repeating what others have done? Oh, so gods usually give the quests. They're like, hey, do this shit. Do some cool shit. All the gods know how to do is replay the past. My heart wasn't in it. The dragon in the garden... Oh, okay, so there are dragons in Greek mythology. The dragon in the garden gave me this. He pointed angrily at his scar. And when I came back, all I got was pity. I wanted to pull Olympus down stone by stone right then, but I bided my time. Dang. So you want to do all that because you didn't get a unique quest? You didn't feel special because they didn't give you a one quest? They really did give him a copy and paste side quest, yeah. But it'll be like, I guess, like, you ignore me my whole life, you bring me to this thing, monsters are coming to kill me, and you give me some shit that really has just been done before. Like, it's just unnecessary as fuck. Pissing me the fuck off. Yeah, I get it. And on top of that, you're fucking with the... No, I get it. No, I get it. I began to dream of Kronos. He convinced me to steal something worthwhile. Something no hero had ever had the courage to take. When we went on that winter solstice field trip, all the other campers were asleep, I snuck into the throne room and took Zeus's master bolt. Right from his chair. Hades' helm of darkness. Hades' helm of darkness, too. You wouldn't believe how easy it was. The Olympians are so arrogant, they never dreamed someone would dare steal from them. Their security is horrible. I was halfway across New Jersey before I heard the storms rumbling. And I knew they discovered my theft. The scorpion was sitting on my knee now, staring at me with its glittering eye. I tried to keep my voice level. So why didn't you bring the items to Kronos? Luke smiled. I got overconfident. Zeus sent out his sons and daughters to find the stolen bolt. Artemis, Apollo, my father, Hermes. But it was Ares who caught me. I could have beaten him, but I wasn't careful enough. He disarmed me, took the items of power, threatened to return them to Olympus and burn me alive. Why? Didn't Ares just turn you into a cockroach? Isn't that something he said he can do? Or were they lying? Can the gods not do that shit? Where was I? Then Kronos' voice came to me and told me what to say. I put the idea in Ares' head about a great war between the gods. I said all he had to do was hide the items away for a while and watch the others fight. Ares got a wicked gleam in his eye, and I knew he was hooked. Okay. So Ares actually didn't know he was working for Kronos. He let me go. I returned to Olympus before anyone noticed my absence. Luke drew his new sword. He ran his thumb down the flat of his blade as if he were hypnotized by its beauty. Afterward, the War of the Titans, he punished me with nightmares. I swore not to fail again. Back at Camp Half-Blood in my dreams, I was told that a second hero would arrive. One who could be tricked into taking the bolt and the helm the rest of the way, from Ares down to Tartarus. You summoned the Hellhound that night in the forest. We had to make Chiron think the camp wasn't safe for you, so he would start you on your quest. Luke's not wrong, but he hates the gods because they are bad parents, so he decided to serve Kronos. Pretty whack. A little bit. We had to confirm his fears that Hades was after you, and it worked. The flying shoes were cursed, I said. They were supposed to drag me in the backpack into Tartarus, and they would have. And if you'd been wearing them, but you gave them to the satyr, which wasn't part of the plan. Whoever messes up everything he touches. He even confused the curse. Luke looked down at the scorpion, which was now sitting on my thigh. You should have died in Tartarus, Percy. But don't worry. I'll leave you with my little friend to set things right. Whoa, so he really is trying to kill Percy. In the show, he's not trying to kill Percy. Thanks, man. It's evil, evil. Thalia gave her life to save you, I said, gritting my teeth. And this is how you repay her? Don't speak of Thalia, he shouted. The gods let her die. That's one of the many things they will pay for. You're being used, Luke. You and Ares both. Don't listen to Kronos. I've been used. Luke's voice turned shrill. Look at yourself. What has your dad ever done for you? Kronos will rise. You've only delayed his plans. He will cast the Olympians into Tartarus and drive humanity back to their caves. All except the strongest, the ones who serve him. Call off the bug, I said. If you're so strong, fight me yourself. Luke smiled. Nice try, Percy, but I'm not Ares. You can't bait me. My lord is waiting. He's got plenty of quests for me to undertake. Wow. Luke, goodbye, Percy. There is a new golden age coming. You won't be part of it. He slashed his sword in an arc and disappeared in a ripple of darkness. The scorpion lunged. I swatted away with my hand, uncapped my sword. The thing jumped at me and I cut it in half in midair. Dang. I was about to congratulate myself until I looked down at my hand. My palm had a huge red welt oozing and smoking with yellow duck. The thing had gotten me after all. My ears pounded, my vision went foggy. The water, I thought, would heal me before. I stumbled into the creek and submerged my hand. But nothing seemed to happen. The poison was too strong. My vision was getting dark. I could barely stand up. 60 seconds, Luca told me. I had to get back to camp. If I collapsed out here, my body would be dinner for a monster. Nobody would ever know what had happened. My legs felt like lead. My forehead was burning. I stumbled toward the camp, and the nymphs stirred from their trees. Help! I croaked. Please! Two of them took my arms, pulling me along. I remember making it to the clearing, the counselor shouting for help, Centaur blowing a conch horn. Then everything went black. Bro. I woke with a drinking straw in my mouth. I was sipping something that tasted like liquid chocolate chip cookies. Nectar. I opened my eyes. I was propped up in bed in the sick room of the big house. My right hand bandaged like a club. Argus stood guard in the corner. Annabeth sat next to me, holding my nectar glass and dabbing a washcloth on my forehead. Here we go again, I said. You idiot, Annabeth said, which is how I knew she was overjoyed to see me conscious. You were green and turning gray when we found you. If it weren't for Chiron's healing... Now, Chiron's voice said. Percy's constitution deserves some of the credit. He was sitting near the foot of my bed in human form, which is why I hadn't noticed him yet. His lower half was magically compacted into the wheelchair. His upper half had dressed in a nice coat and tie. He smiled, but his face looked weary and pale, the way it did when he'd been up all night, grading Latin papers. How are you feeling, he asked. Like my insides had been frozen, then microwaved. Apt, considering that was a pit scorpion venom. Now you must tell me, if you can, exactly what happened. Between six of nectar, I told them the story. The room was quiet for a long time. I can't believe that Luke... Annabeth's voice faltered. Her expression turned angry and said, Yes, I can believe it. May the gods curse him. He was never the same after his quest. This must be reported to Olympus, Chiron murmured. I will go at once. Luke is out there right now, I said. I have to go after him. Chiron shook his head. No, Percy. The gods won't even talk about Kronos, I snapped. Zeus declared the matter closed. Percy, I know this is hard, but you must not rush out for vengeance. You aren't ready. I didn't like it, but part of me suspected Chiron was right. One look at my hand, and I knew I wasn't going to be sword fighting anytime soon. Chiron, your prophecy from the Oracle, it was about Kronos, wasn't it? Was I in it and Annabeth? Chiron glanced nervously at the ceiling. Percy, it isn't my place. You've been ordered not to talk to me about it, haven't you? His eyes were sympathetic, but sad. You will be a great hero, child. I will do my best to prepare you. If I'm right about the path ahead of you. Thunder boomed. Oh, thunder boomed overhead. Rattling the windows. Rattling the windows. All right, Chiron shouted. Fine. He sighed in frustration. The gods have their reasons, Percy. Knowing too much of your future is never a good thing. We can't just sit back and do nothing, I said. You will not sit back, Chiron promised, but you must be careful. Kronos wants you to come unraveled. He wants your life disrupted. Your thoughts clouded with fear and anger. Do not give him what he wants. Train patiently, and your time will come. Assuming I live that long. Chiron put his hand on my neck. You'll have to trust me, Percy. You will live. But first you must decide your path for the coming year. I cannot tell you the right choice. I got the feeling that he had a very definite opinion, and I was taking all his willpower not to advise me. But you must decide whether to stay at Camp Half-Blood year-round or return to the mortal world for 7th grade and be a summer camper. Think on that. When I get back from Olympus, you must tell me your decision. I wanted to protest, to ask him more questions, but his expression told me there could be no more discussion. He had said as much as he could. I'll be back as soon as I can, Chiron promised. Argus will watch over you. He glanced at Annabeth. Oh, and my dear, whenever you're ready, they're here. Who's here? I asked. Nobody answered. Chiron rolled out of his room. I heard the wheels of his chair clunk carefully down the steps, 2 at a time. Annabeth studied the ice in my drink. What's wrong? I asked her. Nothing, she said. She hit the glass on the table. I just took your advice about something. You need anything? Yeah, help me up. I want to go outside. Percy, that isn't a good idea. I slid my legs out of bed. Annabeth caught me before I could crumple onto the floor. A wave of nausea rolled over me. Annabeth said, I told you. I'm fine. I insisted. I didn't want to lie in my bed like an invalid while Luke was out there planning to destroy the Western world. I managed to step forward, then another still leaning heavily on Annabeth. Argus followed us outside, but he kept his distance. By the time we reached the porch, my face was beaded with sweat. My stomach had twisted into knots, but I had managed to make it all the way to the railing. It was dusk. The camp looked completely deserted. The cabins were dark and the volleyball pits silent. No canoes cut the surface of the lake. Beyond the woods, the strawberry field, the Long Island Sound glittering in the last light of the sun. What are you going to do? Annabeth asked. I don't know. Got the feeling Chiron wanted me to stay year-round, to put in more individual training time, but I wasn't sure that's what I wanted. I admitted I'd feel bad about leaving her alone, though with only Clarice for company. Annabeth pursed her lips and said quietly, I'm going home for the year, Percy. I stared at her. You mean to your dad's? She pointed toward the crest of Half-Blood Hill, next to Thalia's pine tree at the very edge of the camp's magical boundaries. A family stood silhouetted. 2 little children, a woman and a tall man with blonde hair. They seemed to be waiting. A man was holding a backpack that looked like the one Annabeth had gotten from Waterland in Denver. I wrote him a letter when we got back, Annabeth said. Just like he suggested. I told him I was sorry. I'd come home for the school year if he'd still wanted. He wrote back immediately. We decided we'd give it another try. That took guts. She pursed her lips. You won't try anything stupid during the school year, will you? At least, not without sending me an Iris message. I managed to smile. I won't go looking for trouble. I usually don't have to. When I get back next summer, she said, we'll hunt down Luke. We'll ask for a request, but if we don't get approval, we'll sneak off and do it anyway. Agreed? Sounds like a plan worthy of Athena. Ooh! Is that gonna be a thing? I love that line. She held out her hand. I shook it. Take care, seaweed brain. Annabeth told me, keep your eyes open. You too, wise girl. I watched her walk up the hill and join her family. She gave her dad... She gave her father an awkward hug and looked back at the valley one last time. She touched Thalia's pine tree and allowed herself to be led over to the crest and into the mortal world. For the first time at camp, I felt truly alone. I looked out at the Long Island Sound, and I remembered my father saying, "The sea does not like to be restrained." I made my decision. I wondered if Poseidon were watching. Would he approve of my choice? I'll be back next summer, I promised him. I'll survive until then. After all, I am your son. I asked Argus to take me down to the cabin 3 so he could pack my bags for home. That is the end of Percy Jackson and the Sea of Monsters. Sea of Monsters, what am I talking about? That is the end of Percy Jackson the Lightning Thief. That is the end. Read that last page one more time. I'll be back next summer, I promised him. I'll survive until then. After all, I am your son. I asked Argus to take me down to cabin 3 so I could pack my bags for home. I have read this whole book. Huzzah! Alright, before I get started talking, hopefully if there's anybody still left in the chat, could you please tell me some chapters to look out for in the Sea of Monsters that I should be streaming my reactions to? Because I'm not going to do my reaction to the whole thing, but just any chapters in particular that I should be streaming my reactions to. That'd be cool. Just some ones that are good or have like big plot revelations. But that was great. I really liked that. That was a lot of fun. A lot more characterization was given to the events that took place in those last couple of chapters versus in the show. I really wish in the show they had gave more episode time, so Luke could have given more of a monologue. We could have heard more from Chiron afterwards. We could have heard more from Ares even. And stuff like that. That would have been cool. This Percy's side with Ares is way cooler in the book. But yeah, I don't... It's just, wow. I did not expect them to, like, set up this much this early. Like, just because of, like, I grew up watching the movies, obviously, and we didn't hear anything about Kronos or anything like that till the second movie. You know, and even that was still, like, shifty and whatnot. So, I don't expect them to, like, set up everything about, like... I'm really curious to see how the next couple of books are going to go. I'm really interested. I did not expect Luke to be so evil. I did not expect Luke to be so evil. Don't tell me if he does or not. But I really hope my boy gets a redemption arc. I really hope he does. And I just think... wow, that all the stuff he was saying, like, he turned real quick. He was like, damn, I was trying to kill you, Percy. I was trying to murder the shit out of you. I don't know, I'm gonna try to murder you again. I was just trying to murder him again immediately afterwards, and he almost succeeded. He's Poseidon, like, dang, he did his research. Like, he brought him to the edge just to know, like, Poseidon's not gonna save you here. Like, you can still die from this. That's wild. Glad to hear you enjoyed it. Can't wait to hear what you think about the rest of them. Yeah, I can't wait to read the rest of them, man. I'm really excited because this story is set up a lot for me, and it's, like, really cool. I wish I read these as a kid, but it's really cool. It's like how it's set up, this world and these characters and everything, and I think it's really sick. It's the type of story that I can find myself, like, getting obsessed with, and I have been just getting obsessed with the idea of it. But like, to actually like fully read it, I'm probably gonna find myself getting obsessed with this for sure. Do you guys have any chapter recommendations though that I need to for sure hit in the Sea of Monsters as a stream as opposed to reading it by myself? 1 second. I'm gonna grab my Sea of Monsters book really quickly. Hold on. So I did buy the big book of Percy Jackson. So I have 2 copies of the Lightning Thief, as it were. Oh crap! Headphones. Headphones do the thing where you're in my ears, please. The Sea of Monsters looks to be a smaller book than the Lightning Thief. This is gonna take me some time to figure out. Okay. Cool. Just gonna shimmy this out of here. Sick. Untouched, basically. This is about to get ripped the fuck up. Like, this is probably how this felt at the beginning, and now it feels used. It's so weird that a book can feel used. It's like the same material, but it feels like less tight. You know what I mean? It feels loose. If I open this, it feels clean, you know? So this thing I like about. Nah, but this, yeah, this bad boy is maybe like 2/3 the size of the other one. So, let me go ahead and open this. I think we're done talking about the first one. Because I liked it a lot, but I don't have too many thoughts because I've seen this story 3 times in the movie, in the show, and then in this book, and I've given my full reviews there that I will be posting later when I finally get all the reactions out. But I just really like the series in this world. I like what they're setting up. This book is really funny. I like the trio of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. I really hope we see Grover again in this next book. They're really funny. I like their personalities a lot. I really like Percy. I really like how he's like in the honestly, it kind of surprised me that he was like so willing to fight these gods. He's just been thrown into this world, but he's been willing to fight. He's been trying to fight people ever since chapter 1. So that's been his personality. So I really shouldn't be too surprised. Percy's just all about throwing hands. That's what he's with. He's probably my favorite character so far, Percy. But yeah, it's good. This is good stuff. Good book stuff. Good shiz, man. I can't wait to see more of Percy's powers, more of how magical items and stuff, and how the world is integrated. I can't wait. Can't freaking wait. Bro has the teenage angst. Naturally, he wants to fight anything with a pulse. That is fair. That is fair. Also, I can't help but seeing no chapter recommendations, so I'm probably just gonna have to guess at what's good, because I'm definitely not reading this whole thing on stream. And I don't want to skip it, so I'll probably just end up guessing if I don't get anything. Oh, this one's dedicated to Patrick John Riordan, the best storyteller in the family. Is that your son? Okay, the first chapter is only 7 pages. Chapter 12, you think? Yeah. I'll keep that in mind. I'll write that in my notes. Chapter 12. I was thinking about should I continue to read? I'm a little tired, but I said I would read the first chapter. So we'll probably just read the first chapter, and then we'll call it a day with this for the stream. That's what we'll do. Did they? Oh yeah, I saw that. but I still want to ask other people because they said like damn near every other chapter in the book, and I was like, I'm not doing that. So like, if I don't get one, I have those. I have those screenshotted, and I'm gonna like look and like compare them with chapter titles to see if I find that interesting. Obviously, I don't know, but if somebody can give me like a list, because that means I'd have to be doing streams like literally every other hour, every other day for this thing. You know what I mean? That's the only reason why I'm asking, but I'll probably still, I'm still definitely going to consider the list for a lot of stuff. Okay. Also, I guess before I start this book, I should say I would change this thing here, but that's a lot of work and I don't feel like that, so you're going to have to deal with it. But before I start this book, I should say I know Tyson exists. I know he exists because, duh, I've seen the movie. He's in that movie. So that's not a shock to me. I know that's a thing that's going to happen. Other than that, I don't know anything about this book except for what the movie is. And I know they jumbled a bunch of shit from other movies and whatnot, and they weren't accurate because, duh, I'm not a lot of accurate shit happened in this. So I probably know mostly nothing. That is the hard part about cherry picking specific moments from a book, having really cool moments that people want to see every other chapter. Yeah, I'm sure. But maybe stick to thinking about like big revelation chapters. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, big reveal! Percy's mom is actually the son of Zeus. Like, I don't know, like that sort of stuff is what I was looking for. Not just more like, oh, this is a funny little scene. This is a cheeky little moment. You know what I mean? But I'll probably end up streaming like the last 3 chapters of every book. Is probably what I'll do, at the very least that. And yeah, what would I do? Like stream the middle, stream the end, maybe something like that. Chapter 12, like Dancing Pierce said. Alright. I think it's time to crack open this bad boy, get this show underway, and then end the stream because I'm hungry and I need to eat. I'm a hungry lad. Okay. Yeah, this is thinner. This is thinner. Something funny that you need to do in every book. You need to gotta open this bitch. You gotta flip to the last sentence and read it without any context. I took Riptide out of my pocket and ran after Dr. Thorne. I have no idea who Dr. Thorne is. And that sentence made no sense to me. But it's fine. We're gonna find out who Dr. Thorne is in this book. About to be really funny. Alright. That's the last sentence of the book? I took Riptide out of my pocket and ran after Dr. Thorne? And then he puts in a chapter of Red Pyramid here. That's a preview of book 3? Or did I do that wrong? Hold on. How many chapters are in this bitch? 20. Dang, damn near 100 less pages. Oh wait, sorry. Listen, I read the last chapter. I read the last sentence, and I need you to know that's also not a spoiler because of the movie. Because the last sentence is, I am Thalia, daughter of Zeus. And if I hadn't watched the movie, I'd be like, what is wrong with me? Why did I do that? But I knew that was going to happen. So. Alright. Yeah, let's just get this underway. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Sea of Monsters. Chapter 1. My best friend shops for a wedding dress. I'm a freaking teacher. My nightmare started like this. I was standing on a deserted street hill in some little beach town. It was the middle of the night. A storm was blowing. Was blowing. Wind and rain ripped at the palm trees along the sidewalk. Pink and yellow stucco buildings lined the street. Their windows boarded up a block away, past a line of hibiscus bushes. The ocean churned. Florida, I thought. Though I wasn't sure how I knew that I'd never been to Florida. That's why you don't read the last page of the book first. Hey, I don't want to hear it. It's funny when there aren't spoilers at the end of the book. But I'm not going to lie to you. I did that with this book, and I just now realized that the last page I was reading was the Thing of Red Pyramid. But you know what? Maybe I won't do that because of this certain experience. Thank the gods. Thank the gods I already knew Thalia came back. Thank the gods I already knew that. Florida, I thought. Though I wasn't sure how I knew that. I'd never been to Florida. Then I heard hooves clattering against the pavement. I turned and I saw my friend, Grover, running for his life. Yeah, I said hooves. Grover's a satyr from the waist up. Yeah, we know. We read the first book. Nobody's skipping to the second book. He looks like a typical gangly teenager with peach fuzz goatee and a bad case of acne. He walks with a strange limp, but unless you happen to catch him without his pants on, which I don't recommend, you never know there was anything unhuman about him. Baggy jeans and fake feet hide the fact that he's got a furry hindquarters and hooves. Grover had been my best friend in the 6th grade. He'd gone on this adventure with me and this girl named Annabeth. I know, Perce. I read the last book, bro. It's right. Dang, this book is so like, ooh, I love how it feels. Anyways, to save the world, but I hadn't seen him since last July. When he set off alone on a dangerous quest, no satyr had ever returned from. Anyway, in my dream, Grover was hauling goat tail, holding his human shoes in his hands, the way he does when he needs to move fast. He clopped past the little tourist shops and surfboard rental places. The wind bent the palm trees almost to the ground. Grover was terrified of something behind him. He must have just come from the beach. Wet sand was caked in his fur. He'd escaped from somewhere. He was trying to get away from something. A bone-rattling growl cut through the storm. Behind Grover, at the far end of the block, a shadowy figure loomed. It swatted aside a street lamp, which burst in a shower of sparks. Grover stumbled, whimpering in fear. He muttered to himself, "Have to get away. Have to warn them." I couldn't see what was chasing him, but I could hear it muttering and cursing. The ground shook as it got closer. Grover dashed around a street corner and faltered. He'd run into a dead end courtyard full of shops. No time to back up. The nearest door had been blown open by the storm. The sign above the darkened display window read, "St. Augustine Bridal Boutique." Grover dashed inside. He dove behind a rack of wedding dresses. The monster's shadow passed in front of the shop. I couldn't smell the thing. A sickening combination of wet sheep wool and rotten meat. I could smell the thing. Okay. And that weird sour body odor only monsters have. Like a skunk that has been living off Mexican. Wow, is that a shot at Mexican food? Grover trembled behind the wedding dresses. The monster's shadow passed on. Silence except for the rain. Grover took a deep breath. Maybe the thing was gone. The lightning flashed. Then lightning flashed. The entire front of the store exploded, and a monster's voice bellowed, "Mine!" I sat bolt upright, shivering in my bed. There was no storm, no monster. Morning sunlight filtered my bedroom window. I thought I saw a shadow flicker across the glass, a human-like shape. But then there was a knock on my bedroom door. My mom called, "Percy, you're going to be late!" And the shadow at the window disappeared. It must have been my imagination. a fifth story window with a rickety old fire escape. There couldn't have been anyone out there. Come on, dear, my mother called again. Last day of school, you should be excited. You've almost made it. Coming, I managed. I felt under my pillow. My fingers closed reassuringly around the ballpoint pen I always slept with. I brought it out, studied the ancient Greek writing engraved on the side, Anaklusmos, riptide. I thought about uncapping it, but something held me back. I hadn't used riptide for so long. Besides, my mom had made me promise not to use deadly weapons in the apartment after I'd swung a javelin the wrong way and taken out her china cabinet. I put Anaklusmos on my nightstand. I like how he uses both names, so we don't forget the Greek one. I think that's real. It's just a nice touch. I think that's really nice that he does that. I got dressed as quickly as I could. I tried not to think about my nightmare or monsters or the shadow at my window. Have to get away. Have to warn them. What had Grover meant? I made a 3-fingered claw over my heart and pushed outward. An ancient gesture pushed outward. An gesture Grover had once taught me for warding off evil. This? Is it that? Kind of uncomfortable to do. Like this? Maybe it's this. The dream couldn't have been real. Well, your last one was. You might want to pay attention to your dreams, Percy. Last day of school, my mom was right. I should have been excited. For the first time in my life, I almost made an entire year without getting expelled. No weird accidents, no fights in the classroom, no teachers turning into monsters, trying to kill me with poisoned cafeteria food or exploding homework. Tomorrow, I'd be on my way to my favorite place in the world, Camp Half-Blood. Only one more day to go. Suddenly, even I couldn't mess that up. Surely, even I could mess it up. As usual, I didn't have a clue how wrong I was. You'll have to see it. My mom made blue waffles and blue eggs. How the fuck do you make blue eggs? That is concerning. For breakfast. She's funny that way, celebrating special occasions with blue food. I think it's her way of saying anything is possible. Percy can pass 7th grade. Waffles can be blue. Little miracles like that. I ate at the kitchen table while my mom washed dishes. She was dressed in her work uniform, a starry blue skirt, and a red and white striped blouse. She wore to sell candy at Sweet on America. Her long brown hair was pulled back in a ponytail. The waffles tasted great, but I guess I wasn't digging in like I usually did. My mom looked over and frowned. Percy, are you alright? Yeah, fine. But she could always tell when something was bothering me. She dried her hands and sat down across from me. School or... She didn't need to finish. I knew what she was thinking. I think Grover's in trouble, I said. I told her about my dream. She pursed her lips. People love pursing their lips in these book series. We didn't talk much about the other part of my life. He sounds like he's Batman. We tried to live as normally as possible. My mom knew all about Grover. I wouldn't be too worried, dear. This is so weird. A superhero whose mom sends him off to be a superhero. You don't usually see that. She said, Grover is a big satyr now. If there was a problem, I'm sure we would have heard from camp. Her shoulders tensed as she said the word camp. What is it? I asked. Nothing, she said. I'll tell you what. This afternoon, we'll set up at the end of school. I'll take you and Tyson to rock and... Who? What? I'll take you and Tyson to Rockefeller Center. That skateboard shop you like. The fuck is... Oh, man. Huh? Oh, man. Who's... This surely can't be the Tyson I'm thinking of. Oh man, that was tempting. We were always struggling with money between my mom's night classes and my private school tuition. We could never afford to do special stuff like shop for a skateboard. Something in her voice bothered me. Wait a minute, I said. I thought we were packing me up for camp tonight. She twisted her dish rack. Ah, dear, about that. I got a message from Kyron last night. My heart sank. was the activities director my heart's saying, Kyron was the activities director at Camp Half-Blood. He wouldn't contact us unless something serious was going on. What did he say? He thinks might not be safe for you to come to camp just yet. We might have to postpone. Oh crap, I pulled my headphones out of my... Okay, I pulled my headphones out of my freaking thing. Hold on. Okay, I can hear again. I was in such disbelief. He dobbied this. This is literally Dobby.
It might not be safe for Harry Potter to come back to Hogwarts this year. There is something evil brewing at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry.
Shut up. That's Dobby. Are all the books gonna start like this? Oh, I'm Harry Potter, but not actually. I do god stuff. Postpone? Mom, how could it not be safe? I'm a half-blood. It's like the only safe place on Earth for me, honestly. Usually, dear, but with the problems they're having... What problems? Percy, I'm very, very sorry. I was hoping to talk to you about it this afternoon. I can't explain it all now. I'm not even sure Kyron can. Everything happened so suddenly. My mind was reeling. How could I not go to camp? Exactly. I wanted to ask a million questions, but just then the kitchen clock chimed the half hour. My mom looked almost relieved. 7:30, dear. You should go. Tyson will be waiting. But Percy will talk this afternoon. Go on to school. Who the fuck is Tyson? That was the last thing I wanted to do, but my mom had this fragile look in her eyes, a kind of warning, like if I pushed her too hard, she'd start crying. Besides, she was out of my friend Tyson. I had to meet him at the subway station on time, or he'd get upset. He was scared of traveling underground alone. Bruh. Riordan. Do I look stupid to you, Riordan? Riordan, however the fuck you pronounce your name. Do I look dumb? You're doing the Grover thing again. You can't fucking fool me. I've seen your shitty movies. You can't fool me. Nice try, buddy. He was scared. I had to meet subway station or he'd get upset. He was scared of traveling underground alone. I gathered up my stuff. Hold on. Gathered up my stuff. But I stopped in the doorway. Mom, this problem at camp. Could it have anything to do with my dream about Grover? She wouldn't meet my eyes. We'll talk this afternoon. Dear, I'll explain as much as I can. No! Reluctantly, I told her goodbye. I jogged downstairs to get the number 2 train. I didn't know it at the time, but my mom and I would never get to have our afternoon talk. And I would never get to have our... In fact, I wouldn't be seeing home for a long time. As I stepped outside, I glanced at the brownstone building across the street. Just for a second, I saw a dark shape in the morning sunlight, a human silhouette against the brick wall, a shadow that belonged to no one. Then it rippled and vanished. What a classic Harry Potter with a Percy twist way to start this book. Harry Potter with a Greek twist way to start this book. That's how it feels.
Like, oh, it might not be safe for you to go back to Camp Half-Blood this year. Tyson is free. Tyson is a free Cyclops.
Like, That's crazy. But I'm excited to read this next chapter. This next book. At this point, we will talk later. It means shit is going down before we can talk, honestly. Honestly. I'm excited to read this next book. I'm gonna blast through this. Blast! You don't understand. You'll be seeing me soon, again. When I get to probably chapter 12. Or probably the last 3 chapters. You'll be seeing me soon. Again. But yeah. I'm excited. It's an ominous start. It's an interesting start. Nice little slow build up with how this series kind of presents itself to have. Friendly with an ominous tone. That's how I love most of my stories to go. So yeah, man. Very excited. I had a great time reading on stream with all of you guys today. Before we go, I want to read the blurb. Actually, okay. You know what? I'm not gonna read the blurb. I'll read the blurb at the end because blurbs give too much spoilers. I'll read the blurb at the end of the book. The only word I saw was cannibal giants, so I'm not. I was like, I'm not. Yeah, I'm good. But yeah, I had a lot of fun reading with you guys today. Thank you everyone who joined the read stream. I appreciate you joining. Please come again. It's much more fun reading with you guys. Maybe if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. You're probably not. We're gonna start posting more stuff. I say that every single time, but I mean it this time. I say that every single time, but I mean it this time. And yeah, you're gonna be seeing shit that I should have posted a long time ago. Stuff that's coming new, and you're gonna be seeing more streams, more restreams. So yeah, it's gonna be fun. Also, if you have any more chapter suggestions, go to my old video and put them there so I can like look at and see more holistic things, or just put them in the comments of this stream after I end it. So yeah, but I think that's all I have to say. Good shit. Oh, I rate this book. I should rate it. I will rate Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief. I wanna say 9 out of 10. I want to give this a 9 out of 10. But I'm going to reserve this 9 out of 10. It's going to be reserved. We're going to say 7 out of 10. That's what it was. 7.5. 7.5. But I really want to say 9 out of 10. But I'm off the high of this. So I want to see how I feel about it after thinking about it. But I will reserve this 9 out of 10. 7 out of 10. But yeah. That's enough being said. Till next time. End of stream.